Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Oh, baby, you already know what it is. It is week 14. Let's freaking get it. The Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions. I am ready. If the Lions win here tonight, they clinch a playoff spot. I've been waiting for this one for quite some time. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. Cash App $, ORION-NWSF, or the YouTube Super Chat right here. And we're going to be shooting for 20 likes within the first hour, 30 to 50 overall, and 100 on the donos on every single stream. Let's take a look at the thumb and get settled in for an amazing matchup between the Green Bay Packers and Jordan Love and the Detroit Lions and Jared Goff and this offense. Let's get it. And on the thumb, on the left, the newly acquired from the Raiders, Josh Jacobs. And on the right, one of my favorite wide receivers in the game, Amon-Ra St. Brown, the sun god. Let's get it. Let's go. And I was thinking, I could do the traditional Jordan Love, Jared Goff, but we've already gone down that route. So I figured I would switch it up and get a few more playmakers on the thumb. Let's go, baby. I am ready. Megan in the building, what's good? 1-0 Kraken, like to see that. Reflect in the building, what's good? I appreciate that. Let's get it, baby. Daniel in the building, what's good? Sarah under the weather, hanging out for just a few minutes and having to get some rest. Hopefully you and the family are going to be able to get better. And I know how that goes. Anytime you end up living with roommates or with family, when one person gets sick, it normally will pass over through at least one other person in the house. But hopefully things will get better for you. But I'm glad that you're here, even if it's just for a little bit. And that this is going to be an amazing matchup. I mean, regardless if you're a Packer fan, a Lion fan, or if you don't really care for either one, this is going to be an amazing matchup. Like I said, there's a lot on the line. These are two of the best three in the NFC, obviously not including the Philadelphia Eagles. I probably would have Detroit 1, Philadelphia 2, but it's almost like a 1A, 1B. You could argue the Eagles are right up there with Detroit. And then obviously I think at this point, Green Bay, you could argue, is the third best at this point. Even if they end up losing here tonight, it seems like this team, could end up making a run, but no Jaire Alexander tonight. And again, Jaire Alexander is one of the key components for Green Bay. And if they don't have him, as the season goes on, that might end up being a little bit of their bugaboo to be able to get past a team like Detroit or Philly in the playoffs. Big facts. Let's go, baby. Let's go, baby. I am ready. And again, I love the, interviews, obviously, in the pre-show. Obviously, anyone that's familiar with any kind of comedy with Key and Peele, anytime you end up getting one or the other, and they end up talking about, anything outside of comedy or acting, you start to realize, like, how much that they both love football. And we ended up seeing one of the two in the duo on the pre-show there. And big Detroit fan for many, many years. And obviously the heart and the soul and the grit of this team is Penei Sewell. He recognized that, and I think a lot of people do. Arguably the best offensive lineman overall in the NFL right now. Hard to argue with that. And it's just nice to be able to see some Oregon Duck players actually getting some respect, in the last few years. The storyline in the past is like you couldn't develop any NFL quarterbacks. Now we got Justin Herbert and Bo Nix, so you can kind of cross that off the board. But we've also been able to have some dominant players on both sides of the ball. Haloti Ngata in the past, and now with Penei Sewell on the offensive line, it feels good to be able to get a little bit of pub and a little bit of shine with our players. And hopefully we can get a great matchup here with the Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions. Let's go. Nice. 2-0 Kraken. I like that. Hopefully we can feed off that last dub that we ended up having on the road, and we can continue our success on the road here. Let's go. Reflect with a 3-er. Appreciate you. Stacks on stacks. Racks on racks, little Cactus Jack, bang, bang. We're at 397 to go. Every dollar counts. I appreciate you very, very much. Yeah, and we're definitely getting a few individuals to flip. And again, we're in the prime position now. The Oregon Ducks, even though we haven't won the Natty yet, we're kind of in the pole position. We're sitting there where normally Alabama or Georgia typically is at the top. And again, it's only going to get bigger and better if they end up winning it all. And if they end up winning it all and win the Natty, even if it's only once, the after effect on recruiting is going to be huge. And again, you win one, you end up getting a lot more eyeballs on them that maybe some of these kids would rather go to Georgia or Ohio State or Michigan, Alabama or Texas. And then now they might say, you know what, maybe I'll reconsider and maybe I want to go and play for the O. So it's definitely exciting. I dreamed of this when I was a little kid, thinking that we could actually be good at defense at one point or another. And now the dreams are starting to come to fruition. The mission isn't completed just yet, but you can kind of feel that even if it's not this year, it's inevitable. Like, it's going to happen. As long as Dan is there, it is going to happen at some point. So I'm not sure if it will happen this year, but it kind of feels like it. But I don't want to get too ahead of myself, and hopefully we end up having an amazing college football playoff. But before we talk about natties and championships and Super Bowls, we got to get to the Big Ten championship, obviously, with Penn State this weekend. And I am so jacked and juiced for that particular matchup, as well as all of the rest of the matchups with the Big 12 championship, the SEC championship, the ACC championship, and then we're going to end up doing the MAC championship with UNLV and Boise State tomorrow. So we got NFL tonight with the Packers and Lions. Super stoked for this matchup. Two of the top three teams, you could say, right now in the NFC. Lots of championship games on Friday. We got the one, and then obviously 4 or 5 on Saturday. And then on Sunday, we'll end up doing the Chargers and the Chiefs. And then we end up having the Bengals and the Cowboys on Monday night. So it's definitely going to be a very fun next 4 to 5 days. If you love football, this is your place to be. It's going to be awesome. And again, you never can count out, either one of these teams. And obviously with Green Bay, we know no Jair Alexander. That should be a little bit of a factor here. Detroit ended up beating them early on in the year. But again, when you have a familiar foe in the division, sometimes records go out the window. And the Lions, we know how they impose their will. And obviously it starts right up front with Penei Sewell on that offensive line as well as the defensive line. But one thing to keep an eye on is all of the injuries on the Detroit Lions. They have over 11 injuries to starters and backups on the defensive side of the ball. And that was the side of the ball that they were the weakest, right? But they got tremendously better this season. But as they were getting better and better and trying to match the intensity of Penei Sewell on the offensive line and that side of the ball, one player after another has gotten hurt. And obviously Dan Campbell is using next man up mentality. And they've been able to kind of skate by and cover up, some of the weaknesses with the backups. And even though, you don't got Hutch in there, supposedly if the Lions make the Super Bowl, he might be able to suit up. I'm not sure how much truth that is to that. But again, that would be awesome to be able to see him play, as long as it wouldn't further potentially injure him and his career of staying healthy. But again, we haven't seen the Lions really get torched on defense. And again, they only have one loss. And the one loss the Detroit Lions have, guess who? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, it's one of those things, you have to be able to attack them early and often. You got to be able to get to Jared Goff. And we'll see if Jordan Love can pick apart, this defense at times. I don't assume that the Packers are going to go up 21-0 or anything like that. But obviously getting on the board early and often and putting the pressure on Detroit will be key. And obviously, as we enter halftime, you would assume that you want to be within 3 to 7 points, because if it ends up being a 10-point lead for Detroit or more, chances are you're probably not going to be able to come back, as long as those running backs are still healthy with Sonic and Knuckles, Gibbs and Montgomery, Amon-Ra and Laporta, and Jared Goff and the Goffets. Let's go, baby. I am ready. Yes, thank you so much. And I've seen you trying to win that Pat McAfee money, and I know you've done it, quite a few times, and hopefully at some point or another, they will bless you, and then you will be able to get a little bit of that money And again, sometimes they'll do $100, $200, $300, $400, $500, and they end up picking a certain amount of winners. And hopefully one day that you'll name will get picked. Captain Oreo in the building. What's good? Good luck to everybody, obviously, in fantasy as well, regardless if you're in the playoffs or not. Your boy is still making moves all the way to the very end, and I can't wait to see what we get here tonight. Absolutely. 100%. When you're a small market school like that, that's what makes it even more impressive. You have to build for 3 to 4 years. And if you have the right combination of players with the coaches, and then you can end up having a magical dream season. It didn't end up with a natty, but it left a good taste in the mouth as far as like Pac-12 fans. Of us getting the proper respect, going into a new division in the Big Ten, not only for the Huskies, but for the Ducks, the Bruins, and the USC Trojans. So, again, it would have been great to be able to, have that natty over Michigan. But again, definitely very impressed. I was definitely rooting for Michael Penix Jr. throughout the whole 2023 season, and I can't wait for him to be able to get a chance, even if that means beating my Buccaneers for a playoff spot. Let's get Michael Penix Jr. in the driver's seat in Atlanta sooner than later. We already know what you're going to get from Kirk Cousins, and we'll see if they end up pulling the trigger sooner than later, obviously, this season. Let's go. Yeah, I mean, we're getting flips left and right, and I fucking love it. All right, touchback. Let's go, baby. And then let me know if there's anything that you want to see or if you want to wait until a little bit later with your dono train. We're at 397 to go. And if you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. And again, it's really nice to be able to have someone like Jared Goff, because you got to think, if Sean McVay gave up on him, that had to sting a little bit because we know McVay is one of the most intelligent, coaches and play callers in the game, right? And they brought Matthew Stafford in. They, ended up getting the championship that they wanted. But as far as long-term, Jared Goff is the answer. Matthew Stafford is almost done. He probably only has a little bit of time left. And it ended up being a good matchup. And I know it hurt initially for Jared Goff, but he definitely has taken on the identity of this team. Dan Campbell believes in him. And Jared Goff is extremely underrated. I feel that a lot of people don't think he's really that good, but I think that he'll prove the doubters and the haters wrong week in and week out. And so far here in 2024, 11-1 record, 6-1 at home he has. Let's go, baby. Second down and 8. Goff. Little short drop. Amon-Ra St. Brown with the catch. I mean, it's hard to not really, everyone is likable on the Lions. I mean, regardless if you like them or not. Goff is likable. Laporta is likable. Amon-Ra is likable. Montgomery and Gibbs are amazing. Penei Sewell is a fucking beast, arguably the best offensive lineman in the game, not just in his position, but overall. Hutch is awesome. Branch on defense is awesome. Like, they've really been able to put together a nice squad here, and they're not done. Nice catch by Amon-Ra. First down, Lions. Move the chains. Let's go, baby. Get Amon-Ra, the sun god, the football, baby. Yep. And again, they're seeing, what a lot of fans are starting to see, that maybe Ohio State, unless they have Chip Kelly at head coach, or someone of that caliber, oh, what happened to my hands, Amon-Ra? I'm not sure if that got tipped out or if that was a drop. What happened to my hands? Let's take a look at the replay if they show it, if that got tipped. But let's see Goff here. Was it just a drop? Oh, yeah. Hit him right in the chest, and he dropped it. Come on, Amon-Ra. Yeah. Got to have a better quarterback. And again, if I was Ohio State and Ryan Day, it's like you got to try to be able to get like the Quinn Ewers, Arch Manning, Shedeur Sanders, Cam Ward, Dylan Gabriel type of quarterback, top of the top, because if you don't, you don't stand a chance. It seems like against Michigan or Oregon or maybe a few other teams, maybe there would be a point that even Penn State leapfrogs Ohio State. I'm not saying it's going to happen in a year or two. It might take a few, but, again, it just depends on, how these teams recruit. And if they end up getting a superstar, high school player or a transfer that decides that they don't want to play for this particular legacy and they would rather go somewhere else and maybe build a legacy somewhere like Penn State or Oregon or Indiana or wherever. But again, I think the culture is starting to change, and I definitely think there's going to be a lot of recruits that have been watching football on the college scene this year and seeing how Ohio State kind of fumbled the bag. But again, if they get a good quarterback, they're right back in business. Nice little screen pass. Look at the speed. And a good tackle there by the Packers. Jared Goff to Jahmyr Gibbs. Like a Bucky Irving. And it shows you when you get these shifty, fast running backs, it has made all the difference for the Detroit Lions with Jahmyr Gibbs, with David Montgomery coming over from the Bears, as well as my team with Rachaad White, who had a pretty good year last year, but then adding Bucky Irving, you could definitely argue that Bucky is better, and at some point he should be our starter. And again, we've been blessed with some nice, solid running backs in the last few years. Goff, quick route, and another drop. J-Mo, come on, Lions. You're at home, and this is going to be able to, get this dub, gets you in to the playoffs. Let's play with some sense of urgency. Let's go. And no Jair Alexander, so the corners are, and the secondary is definitely going to be tested. 3rd down and 3. Oh, here we go. Goff, plenty of time. Oh, what a throw. 1st down, Lions. What a pretty throw. Move the chains. Jameson Williams. 1st down, Lions. Let's go, baby. Looks like they're about to punch it in already, right out of the gates. Nice route. Little slant. Perfect position with the football. Nice spiral right in the sweet spot. Didn't really have to go out of his way. And Jared Goff, man, I mean, yes, they have a lot of skill position players that are helping Goff out. But Goff, when he's in his bag, he is special. Gibbs. And we got a flag on the play. See if that is a penalty there on Detroit or not. Probably offensive holding, I would assume. Holding on the O-line. Tell him, Hussey. John Hussey. And if you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. 4 more to get to 10. We want to try to get to 20 within the first hour and a half if we have the volume. And that'll get us into the algorithm, baby. First and goal on the Green Bay 20. Skipper, come on, baby. Man in motion. Jahmyr Gibbs off the screen. There we go. Nice 7-yard gain for Jahmyr Gibbs. 2nd down and goal. Detroit about to punch it in. But as we're getting closer and closer to the very end, it definitely feels it's going to be like the Detroit Lions or the Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl for the NFC, as long as they don't have any major injuries. Because even if Green Bay is the 3rd best, they're quite a few spots in the pecking order, below, just based off, how you feel about them. Like, I don't think anyone really has the Steelers or the Packers penciled into the Super Bowl. And it's possible you could get the 3rd or 4th best team in each conference making it, but probably not both third best in both or 4th best in both. Chances are you're still going to get Kansas City or Buffalo, one of those in there. And Detroit and Philly look very good. Shotgun set. Goff on 3rd and goal. Back in the end zone. Incomplete, flag on the play. Tim Patrick, the former Denver Bronco. Checker's flag is. Hope everyone is having a fantastic Thursday. And we got an amazing 4-day stretch after this, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday of college and NFL. Great time to be alive. Oh, illegal contact. Wow. First and goal in the Green Bay 3. So if that's the case, then they're just going to punch it in with Montgomery, you would assume. Get some fantasy points for Reflect. I mean, I guess you could end up going with Gibbs at the 3-yard line as well. But, I mean, when you have a big body like Montgomery, I mean, this is pretty much his territory. And boom, shakalaka, your boy's got the ESP. Touchdown, Lions, David Montgomery. I mean, Gibbs is very capable of getting in from 3 yards as well. But why would you do that when you got a Mike Allstott type of back, you know, when you can, you know, hand it off to a guy that can play either halfback or fullback if needed, even though he's not a designated fullback. He's got the power, he's got the speed, and when he's at the 3-yard line, he comes in untouched. Touchdown, Lions. Nice job. You know, and if you've noticed, the Chicago Bears haven't been the same without him. And if he was still there, you know, with Caleb and the obviously the Chicago Bears and that staff, they would be so much better. I don't think people really realize how good David Montgomery really was when he was splitting carries with Khalil Herbert back with Chicago a few years back. They should have never let him go. And it shows you, for one person's trash is another person's treasure. And they definitely are suited and booted. Extra point is up by Bates. It's good. 7-0 Detroit. Yeah, but again, it's based off top 25 wins. You know, it's based off top 25 wins, and it's also based off, money and matchups. So, you know, and let's be honest. If Miami hasn't won against any top 25 teams, even though they're likable, we know Mario Cristobal isn't the best coach. He sometimes fucks up games at the end. Cam Ward from the Cougs is likable. Damian Martinez from the Oregon State Beavers at running back from the U now is likable. The U is likable, right? But if you haven't beaten anybody really worth a damn, and you're going to be going into the college football playoff, and even though Bama, has the 3 losses, just picture this for a second. If Miami was in the SEC, how many games would they win? Would they even be in the consideration of being talked about right now? Probably not. They would probably have 4 losses or more, right? Even more than Alabama. So, again, as good as Miami was this year, they don't really have a defense. You can't really count on them. Would I like to see Miami or like an Ole Miss, maybe have a chance, to be able to get in there? But you're always going to have a couple teams that get left out. And normally, I don't want to necessarily see, a 3-loss team, in the playoff. But again, Alabama has more top 25 wins. And if you had to think about it, if Alabama is you're playing your favorite college team, whether it's Ohio State or Georgia or Oregon or Penn State or Tennessee or whoever, or SMU, right? Who's got a better chance to, possibly win the game? Is it Miami or is it Alabama? And we know that Jalen Milroe sometimes looks great. Sometimes they look like dog shit. And that is 100% facts. But overall, I think Alabama gives you a better chance, to be able to win a game, whether they deserve to be there, and obviously, having the Alabama history, that's a part of it too, and it's about ratings and money and whatnot. But not saying that Miami, if they were in, that they, couldn't win a game. They definitely could. But that is, one of the deciding factors is obviously how many top 25 teams have you beaten? And if you didn't even beat one all season, just think about that for a second. If the U was in the Big Ten, how many games would they win? If the U was in the SEC, how many would they win? If they were in the Big 12, how many would they win? So if like you're in the ACC, which is not a very, strong conference whatsoever, you can be, like a Miami or a Florida State or a Clemson, and you might be able to, skate by, but at some point you're going to have to play someone worth a damn. So. Well, Indiana, for whatever reason, maybe they think that, that team is suited a little bit better in the Big Ten. I'm not really sure if Miami or Indiana would even be able to win a playoff game. I mean, it's possible, but it all depends on who they match up against. I mean, are you going against like SMU, or are you going against like Georgia or Oregon or Penn State? So there's always going to be teams that are going to be left out. And obviously the committee is lining up the bracket, like I told you, that if Ohio State wins, they play Oregon. That's on purpose for ratings and money, right? And the same thing goes with Texas and Georgia. If they win, they match up again after the SEC championship game. It's all about money. That's why those teams are lined up to play each other. And then they have the other teams in the bracket. So, that's really what it comes down to, whether it's fair or not. We'll have to see on how it goes, in the future if they move it up to, 16 teams. But again, if you have 16, then there's going to be those 2 on the outside that are bitching and moaning. And there's always going to be a 2 or 3 that are bitching and moaning in this format as well. All right, Packers, your turn. Play action fake. Love. 12 noon. You know what time it is. Time for a sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. Yeah, baby. Zadarius Smith, I see you. I mean, Cam Ward and Damian Martinez, are really, really fun to watch for the U. It makes you kind of wonder if the U played Indiana, who would win? I'm not really sure if we have an answer with that. Maybe some people would think Miami, just based off Cam Ward alone. But remember, they don't really have a defense. Jordan Love, scrambling, positive yards there. 8-yard gain for Jordan Love. Third down. 3rd down and 9 on the Green Bay 31. Yeah, but he's so injury prone. That's just like emergency player, I guess. They hope that they can just get a couple snaps out of him before he goes to the sideline bitching about an injury. That's like, I don't think you're really going to get, they're hoping that you can get a little flash out of a guy, since they have all the injuries. Blitz, Love stays in the pocket and almost intercepted by the Detroit Lions, but we have a flag on the play. And don't get me wrong, I liked watching Miami this year. But again, I think really the deciding factor of having them not in Alabama was because of, no top 25 wins in the whole season. Defensive penalty. Captain with a 7. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little cactus jack, bang, bang. And again, if it wasn't about money, and like ratings and whatnot, yeah, they definitely would have chose Miami over Alabama for sure, but they're trying to be able to, try to make everyone happy, in the college football world, especially from a team that has been very dominant, in the Nick Saban era. Josh Jacobs going nowhere. Good defense there by Detroit. We're at 10:90 to go. Yeah, and normally they're not even that good. Let's be honest. Like, you had Florida State with Jameis, and you have like Clemson with Trevor Lawrence. Like every once in a while, you'll get an ACC team that's like undefeated or good, but how often is it that they're like the best team in the country? If they actually played the best SEC team or the best Big Ten team in the past, if they ended up playing Ohio State, Michigan, Bama, Georgia, what are the chances that a Florida State or a Clemson or a Miami would actually beat one of those teams? Probably back in the day, 0% chance, Maybe now with things being a little bit more even in recruiting and not having Saban and Harbaugh there, it's a little bit more of an even playing field. But obviously playing in the ACC and not having at least one top 25 win, not a good look. Odin in the building, what's good? Sending me all the jokes. What's good, brother? 2nd down and 9. Hope you like those horror posts that I sent you. Anytime I see something come up on my timeline, little screen pass, and the Lions and that hurt defense still making big moves out there. And again, they got like 11 plus injuries to the starters and the backups, but you wouldn't know it watching this Detroit Lion 11-1 team. Pretty impressive because, the defense for them normally is not good, right? It wasn't good last year, and they almost made the Super Bowl over the Niners. Now it's tremendously better, right? But the injuries now have caught up. And they just have to see if a quarterback can exploit the weaknesses. And so far, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield are the only team to be able to beat them this year. And let me know what you want to do for photos, Captain, or if you just want to wait till halftime with Reflect. Love, floater, back foot, got a man, and complete. Just a little bit more touch on that throw. Dontavian Wicks was the intended receiver. But again, I still think Green Bay is one of the, top 3, top 4 teams in the NFC. But again, if Seattle played Green Bay, if Tampa or Atlanta played Green Bay, or the Commandos or Minnesota played Green Bay, I don't think Green Bay would win in every scenario. I think that they're, definitely beatable. You just have to be able to get to Jordan Love and make him feel pressured. And if you just let him go back there and sling it all day, then you're going to lose. But if you can get some pressure on Jordan Love, yeah, there's a lot of teams that can match up and beat Green Bay. I don't think anyone is intimidated by them. The only teams that we're intimidated by are the Eagles and the Lions and the NFC, and maybe the Buffalo Bills right now in the AFC. And then, again, we respect what Kansas City is doing, trying to three-peat, but, they're winning, but not by, a decisive margin, but they're still winning. So you have to give them credit with the coaching and everything that they got. I saw that Eric Bieniemy just got fired by UCLA after they fired Chip. I'm not sure if Bieniemy would be coming back to Kansas City at some point or another, but that's something to kind of look forward to. And then you got the other teams like the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? The Ravens, the Chargers, the Texans, where they all have something that they're kind of good at, either offense or defense. But again, can they put it together? And I think right now, I would probably say the Steelers look like probably the best team after Kansas City and Buffalo. I think that the Ravens are good, but they have no defense. So, when it comes to the playoffs, you already know what's going to happen with Lamar. If he ends up matching up against Kansas City or the Steelers, you're fucked. So, and even with Buffalo matching up with them, they might not be able to survive that, right? And then with the Chargers, you love their defense and Harbaugh, but offensively, they're too much of a, too much of a draw. You just don't really know what you're getting out of Justin Herbert and that offensive weapons. Now Ladd McConkey's got like a shoulder, so we'll kind of see what they do. The Texans, right? You got CJ Stroud, but you don't got Stephon Diggs, and the defense is kind of shaky at times, so I don't think we feel that confidence in Houston. So it's like you got these other teams, that might be able to make a run, but for my money right now, I like the Steelers, I like the Chiefs, I like the Bills, and then obviously you got the Lions and the Eagles at the very top, and then Packers and a few others, trying to fight for that third or fourth best team in the NFC. But like I mentioned, if the Hawks or the Rams or the Falcons or the Bucks or the Commandos or the Vikings, if they can get hot at the right time here in December, those are one of the teams that could beat Green Bay. But if you're going to beat the Eagles or Detroit, you got to play the game of your life, because that's what it's looking like. Same thing goes for Kansas City and Buffalo. If you're going to beat one of those teams, you better bring it and not make any mistakes. 7-0 Detroit. Pretty impressed with all these backups that Detroit is still able to impose their will. But remember, home field advantage is something. And if this game was in Green Bay, it is possible that the score is still 7-0. But, it's a lot easier for Green Bay to score at home than it is on the road. Just like most teams. I got you. Yeah, I don't think you're going to get 3 tutties out of Goff, but you'll probably get 2. But, you might get 1 in the first half, 1 in the second half, but they're going to go run heavy like they normally do with Montgomery and Gibbs. Unless you can get a screen pass to Gibbs and that gets in for a touchdown, then that will be like, not a Laporta touchdown or J-Mo or an Amon-Ra where it's, deeper downfield. You could still end up getting a play that's almost like a run, but it's a pass, and then that could get you some points there too. So Jahmyr Gibbs with the short gain of 2 yards. Yeah, I'm definitely excited to see Notre Dame make a run and see what they can do as well. Shotgun set. Little toss. Gibbs fighting for yards. Not a whole lot there. 3-yard gain. Third down. Nice. Who's got the goals for the Kraken? Cartier got the first one. Who got the second and the third one? Nice to be able to see them bringing their A game on the road. 3rd down and 5 on the Detroit 13. Now it's time to be able to get the hands into like Sam Laporta. Shotgun set. Goff. Pressure coming. And didn't want to throw the interception. It's 12 noon. You know what time it is. A Green Bay Packer stack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. Extra Gouda. Oh, my. And you could tell Goff, you know, in years past, if that was him on the Rams, he would have forced that. And that probably would have turned into a pick six or an interception or maybe a tipped interception. But sometimes you just got to be able to tuck it. Don't let it go and just take that sack lunch. You know, it's better than, you know, turning the football over. Not an ideal situation, but sometimes you just got to throw it away or take the sack lunch. Cartier, Bjorky, and Dunn. Nice. Lions with the punt. Good defense there by Green Bay. See if they can do something here on offense. And for Green Bay, they have to realize if you want to get going, you know, you're not going to be able to play the same way as Detroit. You got to be able to be true to yourself. You got Josh Jacobs in there over Aaron Jones, so use them like they used to, right? Make sure you're giving Josh Jacobs the ball and you're giving him opportunities, not just counters and dives right up the middle. You got to bounce it to the outside. Make sure that running game is effective and it's not just shotgun set or under center for Jordan Love. Because once you end up declaring that you're just going to be throwing the ball 90% of the time and handing it off only 10%, that's going to fall into Detroit's favor and every other team that they play. You got to try to keep it as balanced as often as possible. You know, it's better, easier said than done, especially if they got someone in the D tackle, nose tackle position or DN, but Hutch is out. Right? So again, they shouldn't be afraid of being able to run, you know, at this Detroit Lion defense. You know, there's a lot of backups there. You can't be afraid of the 11-1, 5-1 home record. You just have to keep giving Jacobs the ball, and that eventually will open up a big touchdown for Reed and company. 7-0 Detroit. Second down and 5. Trips left. Shotgun set. Good pressure. Throw it to the sideline. Reed is there, and that's definitely their number one by a lot. I think I was incomplete, though. Yep, okay, good. They got the call right. Good call right there of it hitting the ground and him trying to scoop it in. Yeah, but normally with Notre Dame, if you're familiar with them and you watch them, normally, you know, they're a rushing first type of team and a strong defense, kind of like a Michigan with Harbaugh. But every once in a while, they will get an athletic quarterback or an athletic wide receiver or tight end that might have potential to hit the draft. And obviously, we know with Kyren Williams, you know, in your fantasy team there, you know, on the Rams, you know, sometimes you get players that maybe are underrated and that they don't realize how good they are. And then they end up getting scooped up by Sean McVay. Great defense there by the Lions to put Love on his back. Zadarius Smith and company. 4th down and 5. I don't watch every single Notre Dame game, but I try to watch a few for Odin throughout the season, or if they're just, you know, playing a decent matchup that I want to tune into. 4th down and 5. Oh, the Golden Tate. Yeah. They've had a few kind of suspect ones, right? And he never really was the same player than he was in Seattle, even when he went to other teams after. Shotgun set. And no snap there. They're going to take the 5-yard flag to get more position for the punt. Wow, looks like it hit him in the head. No penalty there, though. And normally quarterbacks are always getting the call, so that's kind of weird that Love gets clubbed in the head by Zadarius Smith and they don't give him the call. But we'll see if they end up having a makeup call later on. Or if something similar happens to Jared Goff, maybe they won't call it, but we'll see. Packers with the punt. And fair caught at the 10 or 11-yard line. I'm going to get you some Jared Goff photos here if I can squeeze a couple in. (7-0) Detroit. But I'll tell you what, I mean, if I could choose one team to win it all other than Tampa, it's definitely this team right here. For Penei Sewell and everything that this organization has gone through over the years, that fan base deserves it. And, they're going to have a very good chance to get it this year. And if they don't get it this year, it feels like, they're on the cusp, kind of like the Oregon Ducks. Like at some point or another, it's going to happen. But again, windows in sports sometimes are only 4 to 5 years. And then, you have to be able to reconfigure the roster. Other people are owed money. So it's like you got that 4 to 5 year window to get it done. And you got to be able to make a couple NFC championship games in that 4 to 5 year period. And then hopefully 1 or 2 Super Bowl appearances. And then if you can go to 1 or 2, you definitely got to try to win it when you get there, because if you don't, you may not be able to get back. So that's a fire one. Like the background on that one right there. And then we get some more for Reflect at halftime. I want to make sure that I'm working, throughout the commercials as well. Got to click the buttons, put in the grind, put in the work. Let's go, baby. And we'll see what Jared Goff and the Goffense can do here next. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 20 within the first hour and a half. Right now, hopefully we're at least at 10 or close to 10. Looks like we're a couple away from 10. So if you are in the room and haven't done it yet, please do. One more to get to 10, baby. Let's get there. Little J-Mo on the sideline. Now, once we get into halftime, or a different commercial break, you can let me know if there's anything you specifically want, and I got you. Second down and 4, man in motion, Goff, blitz coming, little bootleg, throw it away, and he throws it out of bounds. Third down and 4 on the Detroit 17. We're at 10, 90 to go. And, anytime that the offense gets a little bit stale, you got to go to Gibbs and Montgomery, but Laporta at some point, is going to get the football. Wouldn't surprise me if he ends up getting a touchdown here today. First down, Lions. But if you normally notice the flow of the game of the Lions, usually if Montgomery scores the first, Gibbs usually gets the second touchdown. Then they go to Amon-Ra, Laporta, J-Mo, or any of the other, random guys that they have, Tim Patrick, but we'll see if that ends up staying true, in this offense here as the first quarter is starting to wind down. Now we got a challenge. Cole in the building. What's good? Yeah, best in the league. There's no other duo that's even close to them. Great for fantasy football, I'll tell you that. All right, now they're going to review this. I'm not sure if really this is going to make a difference or not, but we'll find out. Sprinkle in a few photos here. And then Megan, let me know anything that you want here during the commercial breaks. I'm just trying to squeeze in as many photos as I can. Just let me know. 7-0 Detroit. Brent in the building. How are you? Yeah, Bucks running backs are good, but we're nowhere near in the same category. I mean, Gibbs, is a similar type with Bucky Irving, but Rachaad White is not a David Montgomery. I would rather have David Montgomery in a heartbeat than Rachaad White. But again, Bucks running backs are pretty good, but not on the same level as Detroit stuff. Yeah, and it's still out there. COVID is still out there, 100%. Like whenever you see a lot of the NBA players that say, player illness, and they're not going over like cold or flu, chances are more than likely that most of those are COVID, but they just don't want to say COVID in the injury report. They just would rather say illness. First down and 10, 7-0 Lions. Goff. Jahmyr Gibbs with a short game of nothing. Yeah. Plus, if you're out there in the cold temperatures and you're not, dressed appropriately, definitely could end up getting sick that way as well. But pneumonia, cold, flu, COVID. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff still floating out there for sure. I saw that you got some nice little snow there for your Husky. Going in a little 360 action, then getting a little tired. Hand off. Gibbs runs over one Packer. Third down. Evan Williams. You got to wrap up. Hat in a hat. Gibbs will run you over. And I feel like with Johnson's play calling, sometimes it's a little too repetitive. It's like, why are you just going Gibbs when you got guys like Montgomery, Laporta, guys that can actually move the chains? So I feel like, as great as Detroit is, sometimes they get into a little bit of a lull where it's like, okay, let's mix it up a little bit instead of so vanilla. And again, Jahmyr Gibbs is a great player, but I mean, if he's getting stuffed at the line, why not, try something else, Montgomery, or, try to get into Laporta. You don't want to have your players feel like they're not involved in the game. And, it's been a really weird transition from last year's team to this year's team on the way that they play call for Detroit. It's completely different from last year. Fair caught by Green Bay. Flag on the play. Are you going against Laporta? Holding on the defense. .35 seconds left here in the first quarter. 7-0 Detroit. UNLV and Boise State. Yeah, we'll do the live stream for that tomorrow. Excited about that one. And then I'll be up super early. I'm going to have to wake up at like 6, 7 a.m., get that long walk with Paisley out of the way, and then we'll just snuggle and watch some college football. And then obviously that first championship game Saturday morning will be at 9 a.m. So I'm going to be definitely deep diving on every one of those. And then we'll be live streaming the Penn State Nittany Lions versus the Oregon Ducks for the Big Ten Championship. And then on Sunday, we'll do Chargers and Chiefs. Monday, it'll be the Bengals and the Cowboys. First down and 10. Jacobs. Decent gain there. And the moment that the Packers go away from Josh Jacobs, that's when they start to lose games. So, if you always, notice a certain time where the game starts to kind of slip away, and that's typically when they go away from Josh Jacobs. And again, they got plenty of playmakers to be able to throw to. Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, Reed. They got, Kraft. They got plenty of guys that they can go to. But again, you got to try to keep that balanced offense, because once the defense knows that you're only going to pass the ball, you're playing right into their hands. Second down and 3. And that is the end of the first quarter, 7-0 Detroit. And then I'm not sure if Megan is still in the room, but if you are, if there's anything that you want to see photo-wise, let me know in the chat. That way I can sprinkle those in. Yeah, pretty amazing, right? And again, they have 11 plus injuries on the defense, including starters and backups. I don't think I've ever heard of a team that's got 11 injuries on defense when it is an 11-on-11 kind of game, right? And your best player on defense is out for pretty much the year, unless they make the Super Bowl, where we might see Aiden Hutchinson suit up, possibly, rumored, right? I don't think I've ever seen a defense, be so shitty and then, almost make the Super Bowl last year with a shitty defense, right, against the Niners. Improved it dramatically this year, but then you just have the bad luck of the injuries. But again, it is also time of possession and the way that the offense runs. It kind of plays into the defense's hands to give them a little bit more rest than maybe normal. Because, not every Detroit Lion drive is going to be a score in like a minute. Sometimes you'll have those long 5, 6, 7, 8-minute drives to keep that defense fresh and healthy. But pretty surprising that they're still playing on a very, very high level against good offenses with all those injuries. Shout out to Dan Campbell and his coaching staff for making it happen over there. Ooh, 4-0 Kraken. Nice. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. One more away from 10. We want to try to get to at least 20 if we can. So if you are in the room and haven't done it, now we're at 10. 10 more to go to hit the goal. Let's get there, baby. We're at 10. 10 more to go to get to 20. Yeah, and we'll see how it all plays out. I mean, I'm definitely excited to see, each matchup as we get into, the championship round. But Mountain West Championship, I'm going to stream that tomorrow. 11-1 Boise State versus 10-2 UNLV. I got Boise State in that one. We got Army and Tulane also playing for the AAC Championship, American Athletic. Army's 10-1, Tulane is 9-3. I'm going to be pulling for Army just because normally a military school is never this good. So for them to finish the year off at 11-1 would be amazing for Army. Iowa State and Arizona State in the Big 12 championship. I'll be pulling for Arizona State. Georgia, Texas, I don't really care. Obviously, Oregon, go Ducks, and then Clemson, SMU. I probably will be pulling for SMU just because they're a smaller school, and I think that would be awesome if they could win. It'd be great for their reputation of their conference. Oh, fumble! Oh, you fumbled the bag. The bag has been fumbled. Oh, my. Christian Watson, you're on the bench. You're traded. You're cut. Oh, my. Christian. Stuart in the building. What's good? I mean, you just can't fumble it like that and just give it right to Detroit. But again, what a defensive play by Carlton Davis III, and that's the former Tampa Bay Buccaneer. And again, I wish he was still on the team. But again, I feel that the Lions, they know who to pick up. And the secondary has been very good with Carlton Davis as well as Branch. And again, the Lions had some issues, in their secondary. They firmed a lot of those mistakes up. And Carlton Davis making another Tampa Bay-ish kind of play for the Lions. Go Detroit. I love it. Now you feel like the momentum is shifting. They need to get the ball to Laporta pretty soon. And there he is. My Esp is good. First down, Lions. It's like I always have kind of a feeling, where they're going to go, even though I'm not like, an offensive coordinator and I have the playbook right in front of me. But just based off flow of the game, if you watch enough football, you kind of have an idea of where the hole will be. Where the hole on the defense, where you can go to exploit the defense, especially if a player hasn't got a ball up to that point. It's like, they should be giving Laporta so many more opportunities. You don't get 10 touchdowns as a rookie, and then you just act like he's just some kind of top 16 tight end. I mean, if they actually gave him the ball, he could have ended up being the number one tight end in football this year again. But, I get it. You want to give Gibbs and Montgomery all the looks, but you can't forget about Amon-Ra and Laporta and their impact that they have on this team. They can be more than just blockers and decoys. They can score touchdowns and get first downs too. Flag on the play. What's good, Stuart? Personal foul on the defense. And the last thing that you want to do is shoot yourself in the motherfucking foot. Come on, Green Bay. Yeah, and I saw on the Seahawks social media, you got your boy back, and again, hopefully that'll make a little bit of an impact for, the team moving forward. Anytime you can get someone back from an injury. Goff. Ooh. Good protection, going deep, and complete. Brock Wright, the intended tight end, incomplete. And a good blitz pickup right there. Goff would have just been right on his back if they didn't get that nice little chip block here. Look at David Montgomery. He sees it. He's like, nah, not today. Nice job. If that was Gibbs, he would have got run over. Man in motion. Handoff. And nothing there. Jahmyr Gibbs. Up the middle for no gain. Oh, Autobots, unite. Pass incomplete to J-Mo. 4th down and 10. All right. All right, Bates, give me some points, baby. Yeah, I usually eliminate that. Field goal's up and good. Let's go. 10-0 Detroit. But really, if you look at, the teams and how they're, structured, Green Bay isn't really structured to beat Detroit. Maybe a few years ago they were, and Detroit wasn't as good. But really, it feels like the only team that's going to beat Detroit might be Detroit themselves or the Philadelphia Eagles. They got Vic Fangio. The defense has improved. You got Carter and Nakobe Dean from Georgia that are playing great. And again, Cooper coming in at corner and them drafting, corners and solidifying the passing game on defense. And obviously getting a guy named Saquon Barkley who will probably, I know a lot of people want him to get the MVP, but he won't. The MVP will go to Josh Allen more than likely. And then the offensive player of the year will go to Saquon. That's just typically how it goes. MVP goes to the quarterback, and then the running back that ends up having the amazing season usually gets the offensive player of the year. And I wish it wasn't always like that, but that's more than likely what will probably happen. I mean, unless Josh Allen gets hurt in this next couple weeks, but I highly doubt that will happen. All right, Detroit, let's go, baby. And I like Jared Goff because he doesn't force it. You know what I mean? He's a guy that can have a perfect game that he had, earlier in the season, and he doesn't have to force it. You got, two of the best running backs in the game, a great offensive line, arguably the best in the NFL. You got a all-pro, Pro Bowl, probably Hall of Fame wide receiver in Amon-Ra St. Brown. You got a guy that doesn't even get utilized in Laporta, who's fantastic, who could be a top 5 tight end if they gave him the damn ball, right? And then you got a deep threat in J-Mo. Like, you literally got everything that you possibly could want. And then on top of that, you got extra guys that are capable of making plays like Tim Patrick and others. So, this team is definitely suited and set up, for success, not only for this year, but for the next, probably 3, 4, 5 years. And so we'll see where this run will go. But if it's not the Detroit Lions in the Super Bowl, more than likely, I would assume it'll be the Philadelphia Eagles. But again, Saquon would have to be the best player on the field the whole game, and I'm not sure if that will happen against Detroit, but it is possible. That would be an amazing NFC Championship game. That would be the one that I would want. Lions and Eagles, and then I would want Bills and Chiefs if we could get an AFC one. But those are the 4 best in my eyes right now. And I think I even like the Steelers more than the Packers if we're going based off maybe possibly 3rd best team in each conference. I like the way that Russ has been playing. Mike Tomlin has been a great coach. Pickens is getting involved, even though he's a little immature. Freiermuth as well. And what can you say? TJ Watt, you get a guy like that on the team. That's really the difference. All right, the Packers don't have a TJ Watt. Like Jair Alexander is pretty badass, but he's always hurt. So. All right, Green Bay, can you get on the board? All right, Love. And obviously, if Love is going to get something going, it's got to be Reed. Reed and Jacobs. I mean, those are really the guys that you're going to go to. And they also haven't really been going to the tight ends as well. And the Packers tight ends are typically capable. You just have to give them opportunities. $13 players on IR. Wow. Second down and 6. At the Green Bay 34. Got to get the ball to Reed. You got to get it out quickly. There you go. There's Jacobs. There you go. First down, Packers. Move the chains. But is there a flag on the play? No, 13 for Detroit alone, I think they said. Because I already knew that they had 11, on the defense, 11 plus. So if 13 is the number, either guys on IR or injured, that are either out for the year or will be back later this year. It's a lot. That's why I don't understand, obviously, depth matters. And if you didn't have the depth on defense, there's no way that they would have been this drastically improved from last year's team, even with the injuries. But they have. Yeah, that's just based on what what they're saying. But there's probably some more information. There'll probably be a graphic that they'll put up. They did in the pregame. And obviously last game, they brought up a graphic as well. So they might end up throwing up the graphic of all of the names besides Aiden Hutchinson that are injured. And not all of them are starters. Some are backups, but some are second string. So now they've had to, move to third string and fourth string with some of the guys. Trying to rip that football out on second down and 3. First down, Packers. Move the chains. Third in the NFL. Got to get him the rock. Just a couple years ago, 2022 that he led the NFL in rushing. So, I remember a couple years back, I had Nick Chubb, Josh Jacobs, and Saquon, and those were 3 of the top 4 running backs in fantasy that year, and I didn't have to do anything besides just plug them in. Oh, we got a penalty. No, there's not enough money for both. And they already knew what they had with Aaron Jones. So to go with a guy like Jacobs, I think it was an upgrade. Again, even though both guys didn't have a touchdown for the longest time, but I think if I had to choose one or the other, I think I would go with Jacobs over Jones. Aaron Jones had a great career in Green Bay, but I think they just got to a point where they knew what his ceiling was, and they wanted to go for a different type of running back, a different type of style, to see if they could maybe go a little bit further, with the offense, with this type of running back. And I think it was the right move. I would have done the same thing. No disrespect to Aaron Jones, but if you've watched him in Minnesota, he really hasn't been that great. It's not like he's been a top 2 running back or top 5. There's been some games where he's done okay, but it definitely feels like Aaron Jones has regressed and Jacobs has not. He's still the same player that he was, even though he had kind of an off year last year, and then after he won the rushing title in 2022. But Aaron Jones, I feel like he's kind of, hitting that age gap where he's kind of going backwards in his regression. But Aaron Jones is still capable of getting touchdowns. Let's not, get it twisted. He's still, a top, 15 back? But I'm not sure if I would call Aaron Jones a top 10 back anymore. Possibly. And if he is top 10, right on the cusp of 9 or 10, but I imagine there's probably other running backs that we would probably want other than Aaron Jones at this point in our careers, as fantasy manages. We got an offensive lineman with an injury here at Green Bay. Yeah, fumbleitis. And once you have fumbleitis, there's no coming back. And if Green Bay's offensive line was better, Jacobs would be higher, on the rushing total. He would have been well over 1,000 at this point. Shotgun set. Love. Flag on the play. holding on the offense. Can't shoot yourself in the foot like that. Jenkins with the penalty. And Green Bay needs to be able to get into a flow, and it seems like, again, their offense is very vanilla, but they're not going to be able to get those big, long touchdowns to Reed like, every other play. When they play a shitty defense, yeah, you might be able to get that done against like Jacksonville, but you're not playing the Jacksonville Jaguars here today. So obviously Detroit is going to make you earn every single yard, and you're on the road, not at Lambeau. And obviously when you're at Lambeau, things flow a little bit smoother when the fan base is behind you. Detroit. Nice tackle. Tucker Kraft with the reception. Yeah, Giants are terrible. Evan Williams, the Oregon safety, injured. Come on, Evan, rub some dirt on it. They need you out there. Another injury for Green Bay. And that's why I kind of feel like, they might be situated as like the third best team with Minnesota, but who knows if they're going to keep that spot. Love? Like, I definitely feel like the third and fourth best team in the NFC is up for grabs. I mean, there's like 6 teams that could end up getting that third or fourth spot. It just depends on who gets hot. Is it going to be Seattle? Is it going to be the Rams? It's going to be the Falcons, the Bucks. Is it going to be the Commandos, the Vikings? And the probably correct answer will be like the Commandos or Vikings could, leapfrog Green Bay, but not be as good as Philly or Detroit. But again, that's just kind of the pecking order, as we're getting further and further into December. First down and 10, and this is the closest that they've been all game. 7 minutes left in the second quarter, and they need points. Even a field goal will do. Jacobs, good defense by the Lions. Flag on the play. And it's like we haven't really seen a Detroit defense like this because, in the past, they would get ripped off on the run, big chunk plays, big chunk passing, yards as well. And, to see this Detroit defense with all those injuries playing like they don't have any, it's pretty amazing. Let's see what this flag is. Za'Darius Smith, illegal use of hands. First and goal. I would assume they'll try to go with Jacobs and pound the rock and get him in the end zone. And then, they'll try to get Reed the football in the second half for the passing touchdown. But we'll see if they keep pounding the rock with Jacobs here. We're at 10, 90 to go. First and goal. Let's see if they get a little bit creative here on the offense or if they play it vanilla and safe. Love, hands off. Jacobs, there you go. There you go, right up the gut, and you can do it one more time, and you'll probably get in the end zone. Second down and goal. And Jacobs has got good vision, good power, and that nice little hezzy, instead of being a loss of 2, ends up being positive yardage. Third and goal on the Detroit 3. Shotgun set. And they go play action. Jesus Christ. Kraft wide open. And what was that, Jordan Love? My God. Wasted opportunity. Could have went with Jacobs right up the gut one more time. And if you're going to go to a player, you don't go to Kraft in this situation. You go to Reed. You go to the guy that's got the best hands. Or if you would have been able to throw that with some precision, that could have been a touchdown. Well, it's already been a long day for them. I mean, they're fucking at 0 with 5 minutes left in the second quarter. And I don't think anyone thinks they're going to win. Even Packer fans know they're not winning this game. Third and goal. Shotgun set. Love steps up in the pocket, back of the end zone. Intercepted, but a flag on the play. They're going to go defensive pass interference or something of that nature here. And then they'll get a freebie for Green Bay. Yeah, Arnold is the guilty party, so defensive pass interference. So now you're going to get the Josh Jacobs touchdown. Just like with the Montgomery, if the ball is within the 3-yard line, that's where you're going to go. Oh, yeah, he was chest bumping him. 17 times penalized for PI. 2 tonight. And there it is. Josh Jacobs, touchdown, Packers. And that's very predictable, Packers are super predictable to be able to predict how they're going to play. And you do the same exact thing that they did to you, right? You got Montgomery on one side, and you got Jacobs on the other. Bang, there it is. Now we have at least somewhat of a closer game. Packer fans can feel a little bit better. I mean, I did put him on the thumb for a reason, right? First time this season. Josh Jacobs. Had a feeling that he would score once or twice today. Extra point is up and good by McManus. 10-7. Detroit. Yeah, only problem is with the Giants, if they get Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders or anyone, Quinn Ewers or whoever they decide to go with, that's not going to solve the problem. It's a cultural problem there. They don't got the right owner, the right GM, the right head coach, the right coordinators. They don't got the right supporting cast. That team is filthy. It's going to take a lot. Like they talk about Jacksonville and a few other teams that, don't really have a good culture, right now. But the Giants is really in the gutter. They don't need just a quarterback. They need fucking everything. 10-7, Detroit. Here we go. Dexter Original Sin. I'm going to watch this. Paramount Plus, baby. So got Michael C. Hall as the narrator, and it shows Dexter in his younger years, in his early 20s when he makes his first initial kill. When he's in the show, obviously as the blood examiner, I think he's like in his mid-30s. So they're kind of going back. And then there's going to also be another Dexter show that's going to come out where he actually is going to be playing, I believe, himself and narrating it. And that will be on later in 2025, I believe. Raiders. Yeah, Raiders might be more of a destination than the Giants. Raiders might even be a better destination than the Jags as well. That's probably the best destination. But, just as important as like coaches, are in the NFL, yeah, they might need quarterback and offensive line. But again, it shows you if you can get the right coaches and coordinators, that's more important than any quarterback that you get. Like I said, you need to be able to change the culture in the appropriate way. And if you end up getting, a Shedeur Sanders on the Raiders or the Giants, that's not going to turn the team around. It's like I would rather have an elite coach come in to be able to change it. And then figure out, the quarterback than just trying to solve the problem with just the quarterback and you still have shitty coaches and shitty supporting cast. So. Yeah. Well, I already knew Daniel Jones was not going to be good. If you watched him in college, there was some flashing, but if you come out at Duke, that's a basketball school, And sometimes, small college, athletes end up making a name for themselves, every once in a while. All right, see if the Lions can get a touchdown or a field goal here right before half. Yeah. I mean, Jeanty to the Cowboys would probably make the most sense, but I don't know if I would want him to go there. But it would make the team better, but they would still need to beef up the offensive line to help him. Yeah, and the Browns got what, Chubb and Ford and whatnot. So I mean, I think the Browns probably need a lot more than a running back at this point. But yeah, I think Jeanty anywhere would be interesting. I mean, especially if he can carry over some of that dominance to the NFL. I mean, that could be a fantasy gem next year. Goff with the play action. There you go. First down, Lions. J-Mo, move the chains. And now it's time to get Laporta the football. At this point, it's like you're almost getting into this hurry-up offense. Last 5 minutes, keep them on their toes. You still need to get Amon-Ra the football as well. But definitely would be looking at Amon-Ra and Laporta here on this drive. There's Montgomery with the screen. Yeah, and especially if you look at his numbers compared to all the other guys like Henry and Reggie Bush, a lot of the guys that have won the Heisman at the running back position in the last 20 years, Jeanty's numbers this year are night and day compared to those guys. The season isn't even over yet, and his numbers are much, much better. I mean, if anything, he's closer to Barry Sanders and his legendary numbers at Oklahoma State in the 80s than what you're seeing out of Reggie Bush, Derrick Henry, and a few of those other guys that got the Heisman at running back. Goff. Incomplete. Jameson Williams, the intended target. Yeah, well, Cowboys would have to trade up if they wanted him. They probably wouldn't get him at 13. I would assume that, there's a good opportunity for Jeanty to be a top 10 pick just based on his numbers this year. He's earned that, Some of the other running backs, you can see what you can get for value, but Goff, play action fake, pressure off the edge, steps up. There's David Montgomery. First down, Lions. Move the chains. But I mean, the Cowboys need offensive line, different quarterback, different owner, better defense. I mean, he could be a fantasy machine, but Jeanty isn't going to solve the problems for the Cowboys. It's not like you get Jeanty there and then they just go to the NFC Championship game. First down and 10, shotgun set, Goff, play action fake, bootleg, pump fake, keeping his eyes downfield. There he is. There's my guy, Sam Laporta. First down, Lions. Yeah, and plus he's already had so many injuries to that knee. Left knee, right knee, left knee. Like Chubb's career is almost over. And yeah, Ford is not good enough to be the starter. He's a change of pace back, and I would agree to that. They need someone better. Yeah, I mean, it would be nicer if he was on the Browns and the Cowboys. Obviously, Cowboy fans would love Genty there. They'd buy his jersey and whatnot. But yeah, he definitely would be more exciting on the Browns. I think that would be facts. Two-minute warning. Gibbs with a short run, 3-yard gain, 10-7. Detroit with 1:53 left in the second quarter. We'll get more points in the second half, Captain. But again, this is kind of Detroit's MO for the most part. It's usually the running backs get in the end zone in the first half, and then the wide receivers and the tight ends usually get the ball and the touchdowns or the big plays in the second half. That's kind of the MO. Not every game, but a lot of games this year, if you've watched Detroit, have gone that way. Unless you're playing like a terrible team like Jacksonville or something, where then you can put up like 50 points and then everyone's getting involved. The running backs, the wide receivers, the tight ends, hell, even Goff himself. So I agree to that as well. I mean, they definitely hit on the draft with Bowers. That definitely lived up, to the reputation of being the best tight end in the country, and he's lived up to the billing. Now they just need to be able to get a quarterback, that's not Gardner Minshew or, or any of the others that they're, Aiden O'Connell is okay, but for me, I mean, he had a pretty good game last weekend against the Chiefs, right? But I'm not really sure if either one of those is good enough, based on what you're seeing with Justin Herbert and Bo Nix and Patrick Mahomes in the division. It kind of feels like those guys are more like backups, and you need somebody better. But we'll see. It's been a long time since they've had a guy like a Rich Gannon, back in the early 2000s when they had like Charlie Gardner and Tim Brown, or they had that QB position that you didn't have to worry about. But it's been a long time since they've had a quarterback that you could trust on the Raiders. Oh, that's a great question. He's a fantastic player, and honestly, every single team is salivating for him, because they can play him at wide receiver, they can play him at corner. Shit, you could probably play him at punt returner, kick returner if you wanted to. Yeah, I mean, it really depends on, how he does in the combine and whatnot, and, how Colorado does, moving forward and whatnot. But I think that, he could be a very high draft pick, and, he's got the athleticism. He's got a good attitude. He's the most likable player on Colorado, and we'll see where he goes. But he probably won't play both positions. He's going to have to choose, wide receiver or corner. I don't think you're going to have him play like a bajillion snaps and he's going to play both. I mean, he might be able to play like wide receiver and then a couple plays at corner, I guess, if, they have a couple looks that they want him in there for. There's Laporta. First down, Lions. But anyone that's, sitting in the top 10 would be looking at him, depending on what other needs they have. Good blocking up front there by Detroit. Penei Sewell, baby. Telling you. Best offensive lineman in the game. Nice job by Sam Laporta there. You can kind of just feel where it's going. And so now, in this territory, this is more like Amon-Ra. So let's see where we go here. Obviously, you can run the ball with Montgomery or Gibbs, but let's see if they end up throwing it at one point or another before the running back gets into the end zone, if he gets in. Stuffed. Looks like you're going to have to wait for Laporta or Amon-Ra in the second half. Now they're just going to hand the ball off, pound the rock, and I assume that Montgomery will get in again. And that's why it's so important to have a guy like Montgomery. I feel like Montgomery is even more valuable than Gibbs, because sometimes Gibbs will outscore Montgomery, but Montgomery is consistent. It's like he's going to get you those points. And Gibbs is as well, But as far as touchdowns, it's like more of a, I think Montgomery is more of a more clutch for touchdowns. You know, you might get more fantasy points out of Gibbs depending on some of the looks. But with Montgomery, though, he's a touchdown machine. I would know because I had him obviously last year, and Reflect has him this year. And it seems like every game he gets in the end zone once or twice. He's money. And if this is me right here, you pound the rock with Montgomery and you get Reflect some more fantasy points. That would be the safest thing to do here. Wow, Goff with the keeper himself. But is he in, though? Touchdown, Jared Goff. There's your fantasy points, Captain. It might have not been based off a pass, but you'll take it. There you go. You got to get them any way that you can, and that's the little trickery that they could have went for Montgomery for the second touchdown, but tried to be able to fool them. Oh, now they say he didn't get in. Oh, brutal. They said, no, he didn't get in. Then he got in, and now they say, no, he didn't get in. Oh, knee is down. He's short. Uh-oh. Now it's going to go to Montgomery. They're probably not going to go Goff 2 times in a row. Ah, damn. Sorry, Captain. And just like that, fantasy points. You're going to get them in the second half, but... Now I assume it'll be Montgomery or Gibbs right up the gut. 10-7 Detroit. Or you could end up going to like a fullback. You know, if they had a fullback on the roster, like, you could go that route. But pretty much Montgomery is the fullback. Gibbs is the running back. Tush push. Jared Goff in the Goffense. All right, let's see who they have personnel-wise in here. Shit, the Lions could even throw to an offensive lineman for a touchdown, but since it is 3rd and goal, I think the smart thing to do is just hand it off to Montgomery if he's in the game and collect his second touchdown. Not good for Captain in his fantasy until the second half, but we'll see where it goes here. Third and goal. It's like run right behind Penei Sewell. Touchdown every time. Wow, Montgomery stuffed. Wow. Well, that was the correct call, but did a little bit of a jump cut and great defense there by the Packers. Kenny Clark and about 4 other Green Bay Packers said, not today. 4th and goal. All right, now what do you do here? Do you go for 3? Or do you, play bully ball and say, fuck that, we're going to just do a QB sneak or run it with Montgomery again and just, go that particular route? I mean, the smart thing to do is take the points. And, but again, if you don't get it, it would be essentially like a punt on the 1 yard line, and it's not like they're going to be able to get it in. And go 99 yards. I mean, the clock is running down right here, so we'll see if they end up playing bully ball and just trying to get the touchdown to go up 17-7, or if they play it safe and take the points like they should, and they go up 13-7. And obviously, Green Bay hasn't really shown that they're a threat so far, so taking the 3, yes, they could score a touchdown and be ahead of you by 1, but, I think it would be for morale. A field goal and a make would feel good going into the locker room rather than going for it on 4th down and not getting it and then only being up by 3. But if you do get it, then you're up 17-7, and then essentially the game you're starting to pull away. So we'll see what they do here. But obviously Dan Campbell has a little bit of Chip Kelly and Dan Lanning in him where they don't give a fuck and they're just going to try to play bully ball here. And I assume that's what we're going to do. So let's see where we go with the football here with Gibbs in the backfield. 4th and goal. Man in motion. Goff. Touchdown, Lions. Perfect play call to Gibbs. And there's your fantasy points. They said, fuck it. We're not afraid of Green Bay, but let's just fucking take it right to them. And there it is. Extra point is up by Bates and good. 17-7 Lions, especially if you're at the 1 yard line, right? I mean, they've pretty much been in control this whole game. They're at home. Why not, right? You win the game, you end up clinching the playoffs. It's not like, Green Bay's defense plays good in spurts, but it's not like you're afraid of them. And it worked out. No, they did. Yeah, they went for it. That's Detroit's MO, and hell, even if it was like 4th down and 3, they probably would have went for it. That's just kind of, if you watch this team and notice their tendencies, when it is 4th down, Dan Campbell's going to go for it more than any NFL coach that's, coaching right now. So, for them to do that didn't really surprise me. And right in between the zone of those 2 Packer players, what a perfect throw by Goff. And, anytime you have a linebacker or a DN trying to match up to Gibbs, yeah, good night. You're not going to win that battle. Doesn't hurt my feelings that Green Bay's losing. Not really a fan of Green Bay or their players or their fan base, really. Especially all the shit talking that they did, over Minnesota, Chicago and Detroit over the years. Nice to be able to get a little bit of your own medicine. If you're going to talk shit and talk shit and talk shit, eventually it's going to come back to you. And you might have been the king of the NFC North for, quite a few years with, Favre and Rodgers, but not anymore. I love it. 17-7 Detroit. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Let's try to get to 20 as soon as possible if we can. And we're at 10, 90 to go. So we're at 10 and 10 on both sides. Now we're at 11. 9 more likes to get to 20. Let's get there, baby. Yeah, he's going to have a shot. And then Double E ended up going with Carr as his quarterback. But if he would have, paid attention and hit the wire and picked up Darnold, instead of me getting him, that might have been able to put him in better position. But we'll see what happens between Double E and Matt, who ends up getting that last spot. And then we have to see like the tiebreaker situation if that ends up happening. Most points, yeah. I believe Matt's got more points. Matt's got more points than E, I believe. So I look at all that shit. So $17-7 Lions. Any type of photos or anything that you guys want to be able to see, just let me know. Anything that you want, Reflect Captain, just fire away, and I got you. As we end up seeing some stats and some highlights as we're at halftime. And then I'll go check up on Paisley to make sure that she's snugging on the couch. It's been very cold here in Oregon. I assume it's been cold in Washington as well for you guys. Walks for me and Paisley have been 25 to 30 degrees, typically in the morning and at night. Last night was freezing. I remember I had to, have the drawstrings on my hoodie where my face probably was covered up, to that point, where just my eyes and maybe my nose were showing. But, I got to make sure that she gets her exercise. That way she can, obviously pee and poo, and get to sniff some flowers and some grass. And plus I like it because I don't have to see anybody. It's just complete darkness. Nobody's out there. It's just me and her, so it doesn't matter if we do, 20-minute walk, 30-minute walk, 40-minute walk. It's definitely the most peaceful walk. Morning walk and afternoon are decent, depending on how many dogs or people that we see and whatnot, but it's definitely good for the mental health. You want some Gibbs? I got you. Will Levis, the only thing he can get, a Mayo sponsorship. Ooh, that's fire. Damn, Gibbs has got all kinds of dope ones. I love like the collages that end up having more than like one image on that. You know, like I'm always looking for stuff like that. And then I got another one. He's awesome, man. Just like a Bucky Irving, you know, except I think Gibbs is a little bit better. But I think Bucky, if Bucky was on the Lions, you know, he would be doing the same type of stuff that Gibbs is doing. He'd be a perfect fit for this Detroit team. But I'm happy that I have him in Tampa because, you know, obviously with Rachaad White, you know, sometimes he plays good, but I definitely like Bucky better. Not just because of the Oregon Duck connection. I just think he's a better player. A little stiff arm to my team. How are you going to stiff arm my boy, Antoine Winfield Jr.? What a stud. And it's kind of unusual for Alabama to have a running back like this. They normally have more of the physical backs, you know, so to have like kind of an undersized back, you know, this was one of the last, obviously in that Nick Saban era, right? But kind of an uncharacteristic type of running back that they normally don't have. And he's definitely exceeded every single expectation that they had at the beginning of the year. Yeah, I remember how they were saying how bad of a draft it was, but it shows you some people know talent and other people, they're fucking stupid and they don't, you know. But we knew on this channel that was a great draft, you know, for Detroit. And they've been hitting on that NFL draft year in and year out, so. But again, you know, not everyone is a good evaluator. You know, a lot of people watch football, but that doesn't mean that they know how to evaluate talent or how it might turn out, you know. And look at this, even before he was at Bama, most people don't remember this. This is before we even knew who he was. Before he transferred to Bama. Beast mode. This is a good image. I might be able to use this image for the thumbnail for the Lions at some point. I'm going to have to save that. Especially with the white background, I should be able to pull this image a lot easier. No relation to Fidel. The Colts there with the black helmet. And they got some fire photos of Gibbs. Like normally I got to look and I got to see if they're going to format and whatnot, but he's got a damn good collection for as far as like running backs are concerned and photos. Pretty fire. Good selection. Age is just a number, apparently, for Bill. But you got money, anything can be possible. All right, Green Bay gets the ball here in the second half. I'm going to go check up on Paisley here real quick as we're going to get into the third quarter in just a minute or so. All right, looks like Paisley is snuggling underneath a blanket on the couch, so she's good. (17-7) Detroit. I gotta do my mans like that. All right, we're starting the third quarter here, 17-7 Detroit. And there'd be a very good possibility for some wide receiver or tight end touchdowns here in the second half. Green Bay's problem, not only not really getting the ball to the appropriate people, but there should be no scenario whatsoever that the Packers don't have any looks to read. He's your best receiver. But again, when you're 3 for 7 and that's all you got, and then 1 sack, that's not ideal. And again, you can run the football, but you got to make sure you're getting your playmakers the football as well. But you got to give credit to the Detroit defense. Even with all those injuries, they're making it very difficult for Jordan Love, because obviously if this game was played in Green Bay, they would be able to spread the football a lot easier than obviously playing here on the road in Detroit. Amon-Ra needs to get the football more. Reed needs to get the football more. So Laporta as well. So we'll see some of these individuals make some plays. But obviously Reed and J-Mo will be the deep threats for each team. And, you would assume the tight ends might end up getting a look here and there. But I don't think I've seen Jordan Love with such a weak stat line at half in a long time. But Detroit is arguably the best team in football besides the Eagles, the Bills, and the Chiefs, right? So they're right up there at the very top, and most people think that they might be the best. So they sure are playing like it. Yeah, let me know what you want for photos. Just type in the chat what you want, and then I'll sprinkle them in as soon as we go into a commercial break. You just let me know what ones you want, and I got you. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Love. Jacobs. Oh, what a hit. Oh, my. Branch is a stud. Wish I had him on the Bucs. He is amazing. Great player. And again, Detroit needed someone like that, to solidify that back end. And look at that, running all the way back in the back of the secondary to the line of scrimmage and then launching himself like a fucking missile on Jacobs. Amazing, man. What a stud. Oh, my. Jordan Love. You knew that they were going to be able to test those corners and safeties at some point. Going long, going deep. Christian Watson got a 5-yard gap on his guy. First down, Packers. Normally that would have been Jaden Reed, but you'll take it after Watson fumbled. And then the Packers, again, if you want to be successful, you're going to have to go deep. Either, test the secondary, try to get a PI, and then obviously Watson didn't get a jam on the line and absolutely torched the Lions on that play. Nice job by Jordan Love. First down, Packers. Where was that in the first half? First passing first down of the game. That's when you know things are not going too well, but they're close now. Play action fake. Pass incomplete. They went back to Christian Watson to see if the well was dry. What happened to my hands? Second down and 10. Green Bay is threatening. They're going to get a field goal at very minimum here. Man in motion. Love. Play action fake. Good protection up front. Love. Floater. Corner of the end zone. Incomplete. Christian Watson. There's a guy named Reed. That's your best receiver that you need to look at as well. I mean, talk about getting a player out of the game You know, we're in the third quarter now. Get Reed an opportunity to score for you. Third down and 10. Touchdown! And there it is, the tight end, Tucker Kraft. I assume Laporta will find his way in the end zone in this half as well. Nice play by the Packers. Still need to get Reed in the end zone, which you'll probably get that at some point, but a good look right there. Great hands by the tight end. Touchdown, Packers. There you go. Let's see if we can sprinkle in some photos here for Megan. Extra point is up and good. 17-14. Lions, we actually have a game now, which is good. All right, let's sprinkle some in here. At least we have a competitive game now. Nice job by Tucker Kraft. Good hands for a tight end to make that catch. Not how you start, it's how you finish. Appreciate you. Hope you like those. 17-14 Lions. Yes, 100% agree to that. You know, they probably should get him the ball a little bit more, if we're being honest. Yeah, it would be cool if we could end up getting, you know, USC, Washington, and Oregon to be at the top with Ohio State, you know, Michigan and Penn State, or if it's like, you know, Ohio State, Penn State, you know, and even if you guys can, you know, have a record better than Michigan or something of that nature, that would be great, you know, and at some point or another, you know, hopefully that'll end up happening where we can actually have 3 of the Pac-12 schools in the top 6 in the Big Ten. It may take a few years for that to happen, but and I don't really know what we're going to get out of UCLA. That definitely, that team has the hardest path, you know, even though it's going to be, you know, tough, you know, obviously to, you know, gain ground, you know, but the Big Ten is open. It's not like every single team in the Big Ten is good. Kraken with the victory. Boom. (17-14) Detroit. Defend the deep, release the Kraken, baby. Goff, hands off. Gibbs runs into 5 Packers. Flag on the play. Yeah, and it's going to keep getting bigger and bigger for us. So it's not like, this is just a one-time thing. We're going to have the jerseys. We're going to have the 5-star chippers. We're going to get a lot of people flipping to our school, and the harsh reality for Husky, Trojan, Cougs, any of the Pac-12 schools is, we're on top now. And, now we just have to finish the deal and try to be able to win it all. But we're not going anywhere. We're going to continue to have this success as long as Lanning is there. But if Lanning leaves, then, we have to figure it out, and we're not going to be in the same position, because the chances of getting someone as good as Lanning after he leaves is probably 0. So we have to make sure we take advantage while we have Dan Lanning, here. Because as soon as Kirby Smart gets let go from Georgia, who do you think they're going to try to pluck away? Dan Lanning to go back to Georgia. So hopefully that doesn't happen. So we got to make sure we take advantage as much as possible. Goff, intercepted. Oh my, he threw it right to Green Bay. Go. Oh, brother. Goff. What happened? That was a terrible read. Good play by the Packers, but now the momentum is in their favor. All right, take care. Oh, Goff. What were you looking at there? I mean, again, there's 2 types of throws. Throws to the receiver or throws to an area. And that might have been a throw to an area or a spot. But obviously good coverage there, cluing, reading the eyes of Jared Goff. And he didn't see him there. Jumped in front of the route and got it right before Tim Patrick put his hands up. Great play by the Packers, especially with no Jair Alexander playing today. Love, see if they can capitalize off this. Josh Jacobs, going nowhere. 2-yard gain. Branch and O'Connor with the tackles. Zay in the building. What's good, brother? I appreciate your support with the channel. How are you doing, my guy? Shotgun set. Love towards the sideline. Reaching for the first down marker. Dontavian Wicks for 8 yards to the Detroit 6. And now all of Uncle Mo and his friends have left Detroit and landed in Green Bay. Really, what state do you live in, Zay? Wow, touchdown, Josh Jacobs. Wow, that was a David Montgomery-like type of touchdown, he says. Oh, my. And again, I put him on the thumb because I thought he was going to score once or twice today, and he did. You're out there. Are you out there in like the Northeast or the Midwest? You're in like the Midwest, aren't you? I know Britt had some snow there in Connecticut, out there in the Northeast. And I know some places, I would assume, in the Midwest and Northeast have got some weather. Extra point is up and good. And just like that, in a blink of an eye, when it looked like Green Bay was going to get blown out, right? A turnover by Goff. And then you just go to your, right-hand man, Josh Jacobs, right? Great addition, better than Aaron Jones. And they're trying to impose their will. You got to shut down Josh Jacobs. If not, this is what happens. Northeast Ohio. How much snow you got out there, Zay? What are we talking? Are we talking like a foot of snow? Are we talking a couple inches of snow? What are we talking? Hard to drive in? Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help your boy out, Zay, if you haven't done it yet. Looks like we're at 14 now. We need 6 more to hit the goal. I think we can do that. All right, Detroit, your turn. So we got the Kraft touchdown on the one side. So obviously that Laporta touchdown is probably coming at some point. And then you still got to get Amon-Ra the football. But if you notice, this offense is completely different from last year. It was very heavy with Amon-Ra and Laporta, and Gibbs and Montgomery were still getting theirs. But now in this year with Ben Johnson, it's more, Gibbs and Montgomery, less of Laporta and less of Amon-Ra. And it hasn't really hurt him yet. They're 11-1, but I know, for fantasy owners and fans of those two players, we want more from Amon-Ra and Laporta because we know that they can produce. It's not like they're bad players. Hell, both of those guys could be Hall of Famers by the time their careers are done. It's like, get them the ball. Give them an opportunity. I just don't like them going to J-Mo over Amon-Ra. I get it if you want to go like a deep route once a half and try to get that J-Mo touchdown, and it has worked, pretty successfully for them. But I don't want them to go J-Mo, 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 and then Amon-Ra is the guy that's left out with Laporta, because it doesn't make any sense, especially when you get a guy that is just as talented as Jetta, right? Just as talented as Ja'Marr Chase. I would put Amon-Ra right up there in the top 5 with those guys, but this year, they haven't really got him the ball as much as they should, but maybe things will change as we go into the playoffs. Yeah, I wish we had some too. Level 3 snow emergency. And then level 2. Oh, well, be safe out there. I mean, the Packers are the 3rd best team in the NFC, and they're showing you why. Even on the road. And think about this. If the game was in Green Bay, what would the score be? Again, Green Bay at home is just as much of an advantage as Detroit at home or some of these other locations at home, right? For the good teams. Kansas City at home, Buffalo at home, the Steelers at home, right? Eagles at home. You feel it, how hard it is to win. All right, Goff, no more picks. Amon-Ra. Play action fake. Check down. Gibbs. Big hit there by Green Bay. And they got to make sure Montgomery and Gibbs don't fumble. Don't give them the ball again. Because you can definitely feel the momentum has shifted dramatically where Detroit was in favor in that pretty much that whole first half. But Green Bay is definitely fired back with a lot of authority. Little short game. Tim Patrick. First down, Lions. Like for each level, like how much snow is each level? Is it like half a foot is like a level? Like 6 inches is like level 1, level 2, level 3, like that? A foot of snow, more than a foot of snow. Gibbs with the short gain up the gut, 2 yards. Tackle by Mosby. Passing complete to Laporta. Get him the ball, damn it. 5 feet of snow? Holy fuck. Oh my God. That is wild. And how long did it take for that type of snow to fall down? Like, how many days did that take? That's crazy. I've never seen that much snow in real life before. I mean, hell, I think the most snow I've ever seen is maybe, I don't know, 8-9 inches of snow here in Oregon. Maybe that's it. I don't think I've ever seen a foot of snow or more here in Oregon. I mean, we only have like big blizzard type snow, once every like 10 years. But 5 feet of snow? Holy hell, it's like you're buried in your house. Yeah, Winter Wonderland. You could definitely do some sledding in that kind of snow. We got a referee, Don. 2 days of nonstop snow. Wow. Wow, that's crazy. 61.7 inch. That's crazy. The roof collapsed in your old high. Oh my! I believe it. I believe it. With that much snow, that's crazy. Are there cars like driving around and whatnot? Like, are there people like driving around, or is like the town kind of in a standstill where people are just like walking? Man, that's crazy, man. I don't think I've heard of anybody with that type of snowfall here on the channel, and I've been doing the channel for years and years and years. I've never heard of snow like that. Reflect with a $20 holla. Snow, 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 baby. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks. Little Cactus Jack, bang, bang. Appreciate you very, very much. $20 holla. Thank you for bringing the electricity to the channel. All right, let me look up Northeast Ohio photos since I know where you live. I know where you lives. All right, let's peep some of the, see if I can find anything that will convert. Thank you so much. Oh, look at this. This is where our boy Zay is at. Take a look. I got to get a photo so we can actually see, you know, what kind of snow we're looking at. That car being buried is a good start, but I need to see something a little bit more significant. Okay, here we go. This is in the same neighborhood for Zay as well. Damn, look at that snow compared to where it is lined up on the house and the cars. Now that's like that 5 foot of snow. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Winter Wonderland. You weren't kidding. Saybrook Township, huh? Holy moly. I think that's probably the best one. I'm looking at all the photos now from the ones that I can kind of see. I got one more. That gives you that same type of vibe. Zay, 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 Zay. Be safe, my guy. All right. 3rd down and 8. Goff to J-Mo. That should be Amon-Ra. You know, and I appreciate J-Mo, but it's like they act like Amon-Ra doesn't exist and J-Mo is the new receiver. Like, you're going to him too much. Here's another one there of Zay in Northeast Ohio. Golly. You could build yourself like an igloo town where you could end up having like igloo houses and you could have like little forts outside. I mean, for, you know, kids of all ages and even adults. That looks like there could be some fun had there. Wow. 4th down and 1. Goff run up the middle. 1st down. Lions. Move the chains. Your roof is still holding up. Good. Man in motion. Goff. Check down. Blockers downfield. Montgomery. Pushed forward. First down. Lions. Move the chains. There we go. Goff, play action fake, bootleg, rolling to his right, looking downfield, keeping it. Run for that first down. Oh, he could have got more. Montgomery on that last play. Jared Goff there. But that's good that your roof is holding up considering the school's roof caved in. Yeah, that's wild. And we already know that the oceans are, with global warming, are warming up, and a lot of coral reefs are dying off and fish are dying. And this is not just in one part of the globe. Handoff. Oh, and they just got it to him off the blitz. Wow. And look at Gibbs on a play that could have been -3 yards. He ends up getting the handoff to Gibbs a split second before the sack lunch, and Gibbs shows you the speed. Oh, my. Just didn't get enough pub when he was in Chicago, but I always liked him. Like, I just always thought he was a really awesome bruiser back that never really got enough love and appreciation, but now he does here in Detroit. Back of the end zone. Yeah, that would have been a touchdown if Sam Laporta was as tall as Sean Bradley or Manute Bol. Pass incomplete. Come on, Goff. Yeah. But again, Chicago's organization isn't the brightest either. Second and goal. And this is obviously a time that you would want to go to Amon-Ra or Laporta. I mean, that's where I would go. You've been ignoring them long enough. Man in motion. Goff. Gibbs. Down to the 4. Third and goal. Gibbs run up the middle for a yard. Fourth and goal. And what do? You go for it again and say, fuck it? Or now the circumstances are a little bit different, right? If it's fourth and goal, just take the points. You're down by 1 and trust that your defense is going to get it. And again, you're a little bit farther back. You don't want to have Green Bay score another touchdown and go down 28-17. You might not come back from that. Smart decision would be to take the points here. Yeah, Swift is pretty good, but I agree. And he ain't no Montgomery. And they say, fuck it, let's just go for it. Goff, Tim Patrick, touchdown, Lions. These guys are gutsy as hell. And at some point, if you play a team like maybe Philly, that has a better defense by Vic Fangio, this doesn't convert. If you want to be gutsy and you want to be ballsy and you want to make the playoffs and you want to do it at home against Green Bay, so be it, right? It worked out here, but if you do the same type of shit against Philly, it might backfire. You could probably get away with doing it against everyone but them, but it works out there. And, the play calling and the route running and maybe a little bit of luck for Detroit too, but God, they are the most aggressive team in the NFL and it hasn't really backfired on them that often. Wow. I mean, how often are you going to see teams that just say, fuck it on fourth down every time? They say, Bates, fuck it. Who cares? Let's just go for it. If we don't get it, then it's like a punt at the 1 yard line. And I get that mentality. But again, I guess if you keep converting, then you're going to keep doing it, right? You're going to keep doing it until someone fucking stops you. Extra point is up and good. And that's a big reason why the Lions are 11-1, because if they did play it safe, they probably would be like 8-4 right now or 9-3, 10-2, right? They would have dropped a couple more games by taking the field goal to safe, and then the other team just getting more touchdowns and maybe losing by 3 or 4, right? But they're like, fuck you, Green Bay. We're just going to go for it on you every time. We have no respect for you. Fuck you. And another 4th down conversion for a tutty. Unbelievable. They say stats analytics. What's that? Wow. Wild. I don't think I've seen a team be like that aggressive, and convert that many times. Crazy. But they're going to keep playing that way until someone stops them. And there's some more points for you for Goff. I feel bad for Amon-Ra and I feel bad for Laporta, but I guess if you're still winning, it doesn't matter, right? Tim Patrick with the tutty. Of course, they have all the photos of running over me, but I did beat them in that game. I have their only loss. So, again, the Eagles and the Detroit Lions have only been beaten by one team, and we might not be as good as we were a few weeks back or a few months back, but still a cool stat to own, to be the only team to beat the Eagles and the Lions, and those are the 2 best teams in the NFC. Well, I mean, you've already been here for like 70% of the stream. Might as well, as long as you're being able to handle the sickness. Well, they're going to be the best team in the NFC almost every year, either them or Philly or a surprise team. As long as you got Jalen Hurts and Saquon, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Goddard, if they keep Vic Fangio, it wouldn't, be surprising if the Lions and Eagles are the teams to beat for the next 3 to 4 years. You're going to have to go through those 2 teams to be able to get to where you want to go. And obviously the same thing stays true for the Chiefs and the Bills in the last few years. And we'll see if that continues this year. Yeah, Josh Reynolds. Plus, Tim Patrick has gone through a lot with injuries, with season-ending injuries and not being able to play. That's a big thing there. And then he gave him the ball. Good gesture there by Goff. That's going to mean a lot for Tim Patrick. He can put that ball in a case and hang it up, in his little trophy room or computer room or whatever he's got. 24-21 Lions. What a good game, right? It started off as a blowout, and we said, oh, this is going to get ugly. And then Green Bay, as being the top 3 team in the NFC with Minnesota, said, hey, not so fast. Flea flicker, Love, looking, pump fake, avoids a sack lunch, and throws it, but incomplete. Intended receiver, tight end, Tucker Kraft. Yeah, Reynolds also had some pretty good catches for them also. I don't think he was like a terrible receiver, but he did have some bad drops for them as well. But Reynolds did have some games when Amon-Ra got hurt where he, stepped up and made some plays. There was a few weeks in fantasy that he did okay from my memory bank. 24-21 Packers. Love, hands off, Josh Jacobs. And they are blessed that they have the opportunity to go from Aaron Jones to Josh Jacobs, but they always have good running backs, going back even with the Amon Green era. They've always had athletic running back, wide receivers, and tight ends. You know, they're never lacking offense. Green Bay has never lacked offense. You know, it's always come down to their defense or special teams or their offensive line letting them down. But, you know, within the last few years, it's normally defense and special teams that's let them down. But offense has never really been a problem for the Packers. Don Majkowski, Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, now Jordan Love. What you know about Don Majkowski, huh? 3rd down and 8. And Reed is due for a big play. You know, like, you know, if there was a player that, you know, needs a touchdown for the Packers, it's him. Yeah, but they ended up hiring your OC in Waldron, who's one of the worst play callers on planet Earth history. So you already knew at some point that ship was going to fucking sink, so. And again, Caleb has flaws. You know, again, you know, it's like Drake May. You know, they have some moments where they shine, but then they also have moments where, you know, they're not ready yet. You know, and obviously he's got more to work with than Drake May does, right? Like Bo Nix has the least to work with, like Drake May, right? Obviously, the Bears supporting cast and Jaden Daniels supporting cast for the Commandos is insane. They got a lot of playmakers there. Love, floater, and caught. Hauled in by Christian Watson as they struggle with the football. Him and Arnold battling it out. 4th down and 3. (24-21) Lions. Yeah, Chicago is one of those places that's kind of, you know, got a curse on it as well, right? You know, they really haven't had good quarterbacks. Like, you know, what have you had? Jim McMahon, Jay Cutler. You know, it's like you really haven't, you know, there's a lot of passion, you know, but again, this isn't the 85 Bears, and they're hanging on to that old legacy, just like Cowboy fans from 92, 93, and 95. Like, you really haven't been good since the Walter Payton era. You did have Rex Grossman, and you got to the Super Bowl, right, against the Colts, but you know, when you play Peyton Manning and you got Rex Grossman on the other side, you're not fucking winning. Even with Devin Hester getting the kickoff return to open the Super Bowl, right? They weren't going to win that. So it's like, you know, they need to be able to have, you know, better ownership, better GM, better head coach, better coordinators, you know, and like, you know, for a while there, you know, the NFC North was the best division in football, but you knew at some point that they were going to be the team that scales, you know, back. They overachieved and were surprising, you know, but they were not going to be able to keep up with Detroit, Green Bay, and obviously another surprise team this year, Minnesota. But the reason Minnesota is so good is their defense, not necessarily Darnold, you know, or Jetta. There isn't really one specific name on the offense that's given them the record. It's really been the defense. What you know about Van Ginkel? What you know about Andrew? Goff short pass. 2nd down and 7. Montgomery for a yard. 3rd down and 6. $30 hairs, 70 to go. Yeah, and Russ has not just been solid. Let's be honest. He's been fantastic. You know, just because we might not like the person that he is off the field, you know, they have a better chance than Lamar, right? They have a better chance than, you know, the Chargers and Herbert and Harbaugh. They got a better chance than C.J. Stroud, right? And the Texans. They got a better chance than anybody but the Bills and the Chiefs. I would say that's pretty fucking good. You know, you got T.J. Watt, Minkah Fitzpatrick on one side, right, with Cameron Hayward, but then, you know, again, you know, Justin Fields did okay, but Russ is actually moving the ball and getting Pickens and Freiermuth the right type of action they need to be successful, to be able to beat a team like the Ravens, like the Texans, like the Chargers, like the Broncos, or any other team that's not named the Bills or the Chiefs. So he's playing fantastic. I mean, again, I'm not a fan of who he is, but to act like he wasn't a top 3 quarterback for years and years and years, and the arguments and the things that happened with him and Carroll and the organization, it was a shitty thing, right? But again, we just can't not acknowledge that he was one of the top 3 quarterbacks for years. And he might not be top 3 anymore, but in his mind he is, and he's trying to play like it. And even though he might not be top 3, I would say that, he's been playing like, a top 10 quarterback for, a good chunk of those starts that he's been able to get since he's been the starter. Every once in a while a shit game, but that will be said for any quarterback, right? Pass short left to Patrick there. 4th down and 1. It's like Chip Kelly, hey, 4th down and 1, we're going for it. 4th down and 2, we're going for it. 4th down and 21, we're going for it. I guess that's how it goes. Yeah, and there's not many teams I think Russ would be successful in. It just so happens that, him and Tomlin respect each other. You got TJ Watt. You got one of the best defenses in the AFC that you're a part of, right? You got a superstar receiver in fucking George Pickens, who could be a top, a 5, top 10 receiver with the right quarterback, like Garrett Wilson on the Jets. They just need the proper quarterback to get them in the numbers of Jetta and Amon-Ra and, Jamar Chase and any of those top guys, right? And then you got 2 running backs in Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren, which aren't great. They're not elite, but when Najee is flowing, he's a pretty good one. And Jaylen Warren is a decent change of pace back. So, it's on a scale of 1 to 10, maybe their running backs are 8s, not 9s or 10s, but hell, I mean, if you got Freiermuth and you got Pickens and Russ can run a little bit, it's a much better situation than Denver was, right? Denver didn't really have the defense to, get it done for Russ, and this is a better situation for everyone. Bo Nix now with Denver and Russ with the Steelers. Oh, and bobbled catch, Kraft. Oh, takes a big headbutt. Oh, and a kip up. Put him in the WWE, baby. Oh, give him the ball again. Holy fuck. If a guy is going to do a kip up and he's a fucking tight end, give Kraft the ball again. We got to give him the ball again. I mean, that's just insanity right there. You know how hard it is to do a kip up with pads on? And he's a tight end? Holy fuck. Okay. Wow, Tucker. He's like, I need to be in WWE. He's like, fuck Travis Kelce getting in there or George Kittle. I need to be in there. Okay. What athleticism. And that is the end of the 3rd quarter. And this one looks like it's going to come down to whoever has the ball last. Again, the Lions, remember, they need a win to clinch a playoff spot, which we already know that they are, as being the best team in the NFC besides the Eagles. But again, you could argue that the Eagles might be better. You might be able to say they're better because their defense has Vic Fangio and their defense isn't banged up like the Lions defense is. And the offense can match what Detroit does. You got Saquon, you got enough running back committee there to do what, Montgomery and Gibbs can do. And then again, you got A.J. Brown, you got Devontae Smith, even though those guys have been banged up a little bit, as well as Goddard. And you get the X factor, you get Jalen Hurts, because he can not only throw it, he's a threat running it. And Jared Goff, not so much. Yeah, you can end up doing a tush push with Goff. Yeah, Goff can run in for a touchdown maybe 1 out of every 4 games or 5 games. But Jalen can throw for 2, run for 2 almost every game. And that's the extra. So, if we end up getting not Detroit and it ends up being Philadelphia, you're going to know why. Jalen Carter, right? Nakobe Dean, Cooper DeJean, Vic Fangio. Defense wins games. Defense wins championships. Now, if Philly didn't have a D, I would say there's no chance. You're not beating Detroit. But with that defense and those players and with what the Eagles have on offense, yeah, I mean, those are the top dogs by far, right? Lions and Eagles, everyone else is much below them, right? Chiefs and Bills, everyone is below them, right? But I think the Bills are going to be the number 1 seed. I think they're going to overtake Kansas City, and I think that's what they're going to need for Josh Allen to make the run. So, but we will find out. But it feels like my ESP, the messages that I'm getting, it feels like the Buffalo Bills are going to be the 1 seed. Let's give it a few weeks. 24-21, Detroit. Oh, yeah. I mean, if Goff fumbles or throws 2 picks, they're not going to beat the Eagles because the Eagles know exactly how to manipulate, the time of possession. So it's like if they want to be able to ground and pound, you can do that with multiple running backs, not named Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts. And then you got, Goddard and Brown and Devontae Smith. Offensive line is still pretty fucking good. Imagine if they had Kelsey still, right? That would be just bananas. But the defense, right, is healthier. They fly around. They can do both run defense and pass defense. And again, Vic Fangio, better D coordinator than Detroit. So again, if you make those mistakes with Goff, you got to play perfect, and they're going to have to take risks, go for it on 4th down. But again, it's like you're almost seeing like a mirror image of yourself, in a team, except one team's defense is a little bit better than yours. So it's like you can't really make mistakes. And hopefully we end up getting that. I want that Bills-Chiefs for the history to be made, either the Chiefs trying to win 3 in a row or Josh Allen having his moment. I want that, right? And then I also want to be able to see the Lions and the Eagles go at it. Show me who the best team in football is, not just in the NFC, but overall, because we could end up getting the champion in the NFC this year. Eagles or Lions. It could happen. Even though Chiefs and Bills, people like them as well. I understand. Love, play action fake, 1st and goal. Towards the sideline, playing it safe. Number 2 tight end Sims there. And guess who? Josh Jacobs. I put him on the thumb, and he scores 1. He scores 2. He scores 3 tutties. Josh Jacobs, a little bit better than Aaron Jones, don't you think? Touchdown, Aaron Jones. No. Josh Jacobs, electric. And that's the problem, because if Josh Jacobs is doing this to you, what do you think fucking Saquon Barkley's going to do, right? If Josh Jacobs can get 3 on you, Saquon Barkley can get 6. I mean, that's just how it goes. Remember, the defensive injuries are going to catch up at some point or another to either like a 3rd place team like the Packers or the Vikings, right? Or a team like the Eagles that might actually be the best team in the NFC. But we just have to wait for the records to adjust. And obviously, if Detroit loses here today and then the Eagles keep winning, they might be able to overtake and get that number 1 seed. I mean, the number 1 seed for Philly and Buffalo is crucial if they want to make it over, right, Detroit and Kansas City. Like, these teams need to be able to get the 1 seed, right, to be able to have the advantage. And again, Detroit going to Philly would be fucking tough, right? Philly going to Detroit would be tough, but I think Detroit going to Philly would even be tougher. Fucking those drunk-ass motherfuckers out there, it would be really tough, especially if the weather. One's a dome team, one's an outside team. You end up being a dome team and you have to go to Philly. Oh, man, there hasn't been too many teams that have been able to go into cold weather in Philly besides Tampa Bay Buccaneers back in 2002, right? But other than us, it don't really happen. So you got to get home field. And Kansas City doesn't need home field to win. They've proven they can win on the road. If they have to go to the AFC Championship game in Buffalo, they could still win. Like, that's the team that it doesn't really affect. If there's a team that can win at home or on the road, Buffalo is the same. They can win at home or on the road, but again, at home would be preferred with the fans, so you can jump into the tables, right? Zay with a tenor. He says, I appreciate hard work. Appreciate you. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, stacks on stacks, racks on racks. Lots of snow, 6 foot of snow. Someone's buried. Bang, bang. Northern Ohio. Stay safe, my brother. $10 holla. We're at 40, 60 to go. Zay's been a good contributor on the channel, as of late, not only with the football streams, but also the filler streams, like when we do Duke and college basketball. And I really do appreciate that because, this is a business for me. So I have to, make sure I'm making the educated decision, whether to do NBA, NHL, or college hoops. And it's more college hoops and NHL, but I won't be doing NHL until we get into the next year. I think that'll be the appropriate time. Goff. Tim Patrick again. Zay's my boy. And again, where the hell is Amon-Ra St. Brown? Get him the damn ball. And if you end up losing this game, That might be one of the reasons why, because Amon-Ra gives you great yak yards. I get it, going to Tim Patrick and J-Mo, intermediate route for Tim Patrick, deep ball for J-Mo, but Amon-Ra can take a 5-yard pass to the house. He can take a 10-yard slant for 40 yards. A lot of these other guys can't do that, on the team. He's like literally the only one that can take 5 and make it 40 besides maybe Jahmyr Gibbs, if he caught like a screen. If you're going to win this game, you've got to get Amon-Ra the football. Make him feel like he's on this team. I feel bad for him, man. I don't think I've ever seen a top 5 receiver get treated like, he doesn't exist. Wild. And they still got an 11-1 record, I just less to Tim Patrick and J-Mo. Don't you respect the player that you have? It's like having Jerry Rice and just throwing it to John Taylor every fucking game. What? You got Michael Irvin, but you're going to go to Jay Novacek. It's I get it, but you're doing yourself a disservice by not giving him the damn ball. Come on. Let me know what you want to do for photos. Yeah, and it's just kind of being good luck, that Duke has got Cooper Flagg. And obviously that gives me incentive. And I feel like, college hoops is better than the NBA. Some college football is better than the NFL. But when we get games like this matches the intensity that we got from Oregon, Ohio State, where it's your eyes are glued, you're still focused, even though it looked like the Lions were going to blow out Green Bay. But this shows you that on the road, divisional opponent, even though we know the Lions are very, very good, the Packers are having a good year and they don't have Jair Alexander, right? The Lions have a lot of players on defense injured as well. But again, both of these teams can score like the Eagles. So if that's the case, you have a shot, Green Bay is better than Minnesota. I like Minnesota's defense much more than Green Bay's. But Sam Darnold is kind of unreliable. Some games, pretty good, but you should be. Jordan Addison, right? Justin Jefferson. Now you got TJ Hawkinson back and you got Aaron Jones. What's your excuse? You got literally the best kind of setup like Detroit has. You got weapons everywhere. All you got to do is just don't fuck up. Don't throw a bunch of picks and don't fucking fumble the ball, right? Imagine if you had an elite quarterback in Minnesota with that defense this year. We're talking NFC Championship game, but they don't got the elite quarterback. You got a guy that has been good for the most part, but he's had a couple stinkers in there too. Zay. Buried in 6-foot snow, living in the igloo now in Northeast Ohio. My boy. Send him a shovel. First down and 10. Man in motion. Amon-Ra. Goff. Check down. David Montgomery. Don't get that stripped out of there. David Montgomery there, 6-yard gain. 28-24. And this is, games that I really look forward to. I want to be able to see the best of the best. And if we can get 2 of the best 3 teams in the NFC playing and they're in the same division, I want to be able to see what teams look like in December. And again, if you go 4-0 or 3-1 in December, your chance of winning the Super Bowl goes up 90%. If you go 2-2 or worse, the chances of you being able to win the Super Bowl and go all the way is not likely. If you go back and look at history, the teams that end up finishing strong in December, 3-1 or 4-0, your chances of winning the Super Bowl go up, dramatically. It's insane if you look it up. I assume there's probably been a team that's gone 2-2 in December just with 2 really tough matchups and have gone all the way. But I do know that the percentages based on metrics that I've looked at in the past, you want to be hot and healthy. And especially if you're 4-0 in December and you can keep on going, that's what you want. Oh, guess who? Amon-Ra St. Brown, the sun god. The sun god needs to visit Zay because they got too much goddamn snow and he lives in an igloo. Help him out. But be safe out there. I'd be out there with the sled dog, Paisley, pulling me in a sled. Oh, I'd be living my best life. We'd be going on walks all day. First down and 10. Handoff. 2-yard gain. Gibbs with the short game. Yeah, I can't even like fathom how much snow that is. I mean, like I said, the most snow I've ever, been around is maybe a foot, like a 11, 12-inch foot of snow. And it might have not even been that. It might have been like, 10 or something, But I don't think I've experienced, in my lifetime, maybe one or two big storms in Oregon, and that's it. Like one in the 90s, 80s, 90s, and then one maybe like 15 years ago. Goff steps up in the pocket, throws a laser. Guess who? Iowa's alum, Sam Laporta. Get him the ball more. If there's a touchdown for the Lions, it should go to Laporta or Amon-Ra. At least that's what I would be doing if I was the OC. Yeah, I watch Life Below Zero like religiously, and I love they actually pulled up on a little, custom-made little teepee out there in the middle of fucking nowhere. Little end around, Amon-Ra, little trickery. There we go. Yeah, boy. First down, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Boom, 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 boom. Move the chains. But, they had like a very young, boy, like 2-3 years old, and they were going to go fishing, but then they had like kind of like a winter blizzard that came out. And so the little kid is crying, and, they got to get their teepee set up for the mom and the two daughters and then the young boy. And then they had to get one of the drillers, right? Get in there and drill a hole. And then they fish with the little stick. And then the funny thing is the boy that was like 2 got the first fish, and it was almost as big as him. It was wild. That's a snowstorm, baby. First and goal, hand off. David Montgomery trying to push his way into the end zone. Don't break his back, though. Less than 10 minutes to go. Second and goal. Good game. No, another injury for another Green Bay Packer. But again, you want to make... Oh, wow. Jeez. Amon-Ra says, hey, how's your chin feeling, bud? Bang! He gave him some sweet chin music. Helmet flying off. Halfback toss. Montgomery running downhill. And obviously the Packer defensive line is pretty stout, because if he does that, 9 times out of 10 to any other team, he was already in the end zone. But again, they got some pretty beefy guys up front on that D-line, if you've noticed. And their linebacking core, when they all can get up there 7-8 deep, it's hard to run right up the guts. But you keep trying, you'll succeed. Jared Goff, guess who? Tim Patrick again? The Tim Patrick game? They said, Amon-Ra, forget about it. Forget about it, Amon-Ra. Touchdown, Lions. There's your fantasy points. And I told you that you would get those points in the second half. No matter if games start slow, usually the running touchdowns are in the first half. The passing touchdowns are typically in the second half. And that stays true in this game as well. And when you watch film, as much as me, you pick up on those things, and I know some of y'all have seen those tendencies as well. Wow. This is the Tim Patrick game. Wow, 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 wow. There you go, dude. Your boy ain't no dummy. I mean, I don't just read and watch film for a living, We come up with more correct things here. Not just me, but you guys too. We come up with more correct here than I think a lot of other places, Dig deeper. There's black, there's white, then there's that gray area, You got to dig for that information. Extra point is up by Bates, and good. What a game. 31-28. It's going to come down to whoever has the ball last kind of game. This is what we like, right? If every NFL game gave you this type of vibe, there, it's like, why are we watching anything else? But again, for every game that we have like this, there are some stinkers. But I love me some college football, and I love me some NFL, baby. And then tomorrow we got UNLV when it gets Boise State, Ashton Genty. Hopefully he goes off for like 150 to 200 yards and like 3 tutties. That would be great. A little stamp on his career. Hell yeah. He's like, my igloo stayed on. I didn't lose my power. I don't know. Some igloos are kind of dope, though. Like, I kind of have this, like, primal side of myself that, like, in a former, like, life or whatever, it's like if you lived a previous life or, like, something about, like, living like this is like kind of in my DNA. Like, I don't know, it started off just like with cold weather, and then doing like the crawdadding thing at a very young age and being on the water and like enjoying shows like Life Below Zero and Swamp People. Like, I have a connection with people that, have a thing with water, whether it's fishing or whatever they're doing. Not necessarily gator hunting is in my resume, but that show is really intriguing. But the Life Below Zero, and then, being able to, not necessarily live like this permanently, obviously you'd have to have a cabin and help, right, and whatnot. But, like living in that, like for a night, that would be very interesting, to say the least. Or I'll give you a vibe like this. But like, I don't know. I just think, being open and free and, seeing the animals and, the lakes and the mountains and the snow, again, the snow doesn't really bother me. To some people, the cold, they hate it and whatnot. But I don't know, man. I live out here in the Pacific Northwest. Obviously, if you get too much rain, it can affect depression. And there's obviously some depression issues in Oregon and Washington because we do, get a lot of rain throughout the year. But, even if you just get a little bit of sun, that's all you need, to get the vitamin D and, and kind of just try to get that swagger back and whatnot. But, I mean, you get 3 weeks straight with no sun. I mean, anyone would get a little depressed, I think. So regardless of where you live, but we got Zay living that fucking igloo life. 31-28 Detroit. Yeah, and if anyone has the right to complain about snow, it's you, right? None of us, at least I can't say none of us, but I haven't experienced anything like that, not even close. But I know me and Paisley would love it. All right, Packers, your turn on offense, and let's see what Detroit's defense is going to do. And again, this is like a game where they're kind of getting exploited with the injuries on defense. You got, 11, 12, 13 guys on IR or not playing, starters and backups. You get a capable quarterback like a Jordan Love, and an even better one in Jalen Hurts. It's just a matter of time before you get ripped apart and the players get tired. Love. Josh Jacobs going for fucking 4 touchdowns this game. And again, if Josh Jacobs, gets 4, he already has 3, and he can end up doing that. I mean, it definitely gives you a chance against a team like the Lions, and that's why I think, like, if Saquon can have a big game, yeah, that could be the difference. Like, they could single-handedly win it based off their defense and Vic Fangio with like Carter and Nakobe Dean and Cooper DeJean and all those guys, and then single-handedly whatever Jalen Hurts and Saquon give you based off that offensive line. Like, even if Goddard, AJ Brown, and Devontae Smith don't have great games, you can still win. And how many teams can say that, where you can win based off your quarterback as a thrower or a runner, and your running back is the best, right? And you got a beast defense. I mean, things are kind of playing into, it could be them, if not Detroit. Oh, nice tackle. Second down and 14, 31-28, Lions. Yeah. What's St. Paul, Minnesota like? Did you like ever fish or hunt or anywhere in that area in Minnesota? What's the camping like? What's the fishing and the hunting like out there? If you know. Second and 14. I mean, fishing and hunting isn't for everyone, or camping. Some people are city people. Jordan Love gets away from the blitz. Floater. What a catch by Christian Watson. Wow. Wow, what a beautiful, timely throw right in the breadbasket by Jordan Love. The blitz is coming. He sidesteps it. He gets good protection there by 63 on the line, the guard or the tackle, and then he just drops it right in there smoothly, nicely, right in the perfect spot. The Lion defender just out of reach. I mean, you couldn't have timed that better. That was one of the best Jordan Love throws I've seen in his career. Money. First down and 10, toss. Jacobs trying to go for his 4th touchdown, which is something that Saquon could do. Muhammad trying to get the team pumped up on that side of the ball. Lots of mosquitoes. (31-28) Lions. Can anyone's defense step up? Love. Good protection up front. Floater, wide open. Ooh, look at him. And Dontayvion Wicks, move the chains. It's like, it doesn't matter if it's Wicks, Dobbs, Watson, Reed, Kraft, or a guy on the street. It doesn't matter. They got plenty of options. I don't know how the Detroit defender was trying to tackle with his helmet with his hands down by his waist, but I guess that's a new technique. I haven't seen that one before. Can't make a tackle if you don't put your arms up. 31-28 Lions, and Green Bay has got Uncle Mo. And of course it's Branch, their best defender. That's not good. And again, you don't want to have all your guys get hurt on that side of the ball. You guys were already not very good, and it's like, man, they are really getting the bad luck on the defensive injuries. And to be still 11-1 is just mind-boggling. But if you lose here tonight, you go to 11-2, Philadelphia 10-2, Minnesota 10-2, Green Bay would be 10-3. It'd be it's not just like, oh, Detroit, Eminem, Barry Sanders, goodbye. Like, there's going to be a little bit of a battle, just like with Buffalo possibly overtaking Kansas City, which I don't think anyone's really saying yet, but I'll say it. I've been saying it for the last couple weeks. Don't be shocked if that happens. Josh Allen, potentially MVP. Saquon Barkley, Offensive Player of the Year. Even though those should probably be flip-flopped, but that's what they typically do. All right, the Lions, you got Buffalo, Chicago, San Francisco, Minnesota. So you see 2 wins and 2 games that are going to be hard as hell. And if it ends up being Detroit, Buffalo, that could be a Super Bowl preview. Or we could get Philadelphia, Buffalo. Or Philadelphia, Kansas City. But we've seen that already. Would we want to see it again? Kansas City fans say yes. Shotgun set, first down and 10. Love. Good protection up front. Floater. Little slant there. First down, Packers. Move the chains. And Dontayvion Wicks has a concussion. Goodbye. Hopefully he's okay. He's like, I just started getting the fucking ball. I can't go out. He's like, and then Reed is going to get my touchdown. That's what he's thinking. Yeah, Josh Jacobs will be started by E. He's not dumb. He knows. Yeah, it's like you get the game where it's not Love for 4 touchdown passes and Jacobs with no touchdowns. So, what a good game. I mean, I wish every NFL game had this type of feeling where even if you're not in the NFC North, you can kind of get invested as if this was like your team or, your rival, whether you like the Packers more or the Lions. But it's like getting sucked in to good teams that are in your conference or out of your conference and enjoying the game. That's what it's about. Quality football. Love. Hands off. Jacobs trying to get his 4th touchdown of the night. What does he think he is? Alvin Kamara? Saquon Barkley? Derrick Henry? Yeah, I spy on all your guys' shit. I know all your guys' rosters, your bench. I'm spying on all your guys' shit all day and all night, even being eliminated. 31-28. Detroit, but it definitely feels like the touchdown is a few plays away. Could be the field goal. Tied it up, but you need a tutty here. Put the pressure on at the end of the game. Love, scrambling, gambling, wide open, touchdown. Are you fucking kidding me? But that's a flag, and that's coming back. Offensive pass interference, and Josh Jacobs could have got a receiving. Buddy Elliott just would have shit his pants literally on the spot if that flag didn't come out. 3 rushing touchdowns and a receiving touchdown. Oh, my God. Especially if you have to try to win to make the playoffs. That's exactly what you would want. Christian Watson is not getting any steak dinners after that. Oh, brutal. Josh Jacobs fantasy owners are screaming at the TV right now. So you've got to be kidding me, especially if you need them to play well to win, to like get into the playoffs or whatever the situation may be. Oh, my. 2nd and goal. But there's still a chance. I mean, why not go to a guy that many times, right? Unless you're playing him. But Reed is their best receiver. And again, just like Amon Ra, at some point you got to get him the ball, right? Reed in the slot. Love. Throw it. Throw it. Not too late. Incomplete. 3rd and goal. Oh, my. It's like, even though the defenses have kind of fallen apart, we don't mind because the game was low scoring in the first half. It's like a buildup. Like when you're listening to a song and then the music drops and then it goes into the new beat. It's like you feel like it's kind of a battle of attrition, battle in the trenches, back and forth, not a lot of big plays. Maybe the running backs getting the tutties and the big yards, and then adjustments made at half, and then the game opens up, the defense gets tired, and then the offense starts rolling with the quarterback. Love, Love with a stiff arm, and brought down. All right, now they got to go for the field goal. Field goal is up. And good, 31-31, Packers and Lions. But at this point, Bates, if it got to a point where he had to make a 50-yard field goal, and give O-Doggy Dog 5 points for the win, yeah. Of course, they'd rather do the touchdown. But if it ends up being the Bates field goal for 40, 50 yards, give that to me for the dub if that's the route they go. Or how about making it a 60-yarder? 60-yard field goal by Bates is good. What a game. Who has the ball at the end will win. You can just tell the flow of the game on how it's going, on how it could go. And that's what we're getting. I love football like this. It's like if you watch enough games, you feel it. You just got to look at the players and, their body language. Feel the momentum, It's like that intuition. Everyone's got a little bit of intuition, when they meet people or, when you watch things, I'm not the only one with the ESP. Great game. I am as satisfied as a fan. All right, Lions, your turn. Bates with the 70-yard field goal, 7 points for O-Doggy Dog. Boom, 34-31 winner. No, but we'll get something. But like if you had something like this and you got to see like the Northern Lights and you camped out with it like the glass and you're just like looking up in the bed or whatever, man, that would be a good view. Living in an igloo. We could all be like Zay right now. Living your Zay life. Something about the snow, though. It's like your primal self comes out. How things used to be. I don't know how you guys do it there in the Midwest. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. Smash that like button for you, boy. Try to get it to close to 20 as possible. If you haven't smashed it yet, please do. We're 6 away. 5 away now. Thank you. 5 away. Almost there. We're at 40 doll here. 60 to go. An awesome game. Fucking Barry Sanders and Megatron were fucking here, right? Because they knew this game was going to be lit. And if they win, they clinch the playoff spot. Now, anytime you can end up beating the team that beat the fuck out of you for years and years and years, yeah, you're going to get your people excited about it. Eminem excited, Barry excited, Megatron excited, everyone fucking excited. Herman Moore excited. Boom. Scott Mitchell excited. Brett Perriman excited. Lomas Brown excited. Dre Bly excited. Wayne Fonts excited. The old school days. Oh, baby, 31-31. Okay, so if the Packers are going to win the game, they have to get the turnover. This is the time where they play spoiler, but you have to get the turnover here on this drive. The fumble, interception, tipped interception, strip sack, something big, interception, Goff. But again, if you don't get it, depending on the flow of the game, and that might be it. Reflect, $60 dono. He says, let's get O-Doggy Dog to the goal, baby. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, living in the igloo. I appreciate you. Bang, bang. We'll get you some photos a little bit later. And if you have anything else, like artist-wise, like who else do you like besides Macklemore? There's got to be one of your like personal favorites from back in the day that you love. There's got to be like a Ozzy Osbourne or Jimi Hendrix or something, right? There's got to be something. The Beatles. You got Rolling Stones. There got to be something. First Down and 10. The Doors. Led Zeppelin. Metallica. Guns N' Roses. Green Day. Red Hot Chili Peppers. Yeah, the snow igloo. Yeah, I can get you more of those. That is true. That is true. Unless you work from home. First down and 10. Man in motion. Toss. 1 or 2 yard gain there for Jahmyr Gibbs. Thank you so much, Reflect. I appreciate you very, very much. But if you're Green Bay, even if you lose this game and you've already lost to them, in Lambeau, like you feel that you could beat them in the playoffs if you played. Like, you know what it would take to do it, right? And not every game script is going to be Josh Jacobs for 3 or 4 touchdowns. But, even if you lose as, Green Bay here, like you're there, so that, and Philly's way better than Green Bay. So that's why you want to watch these kind of games and every game script is going to be different, But one thing is for sure, you can definitely see the pain that they have with the defensive injuries. Because if they didn't have all those fucking injuries, the Packers would probably be at 17 or less. I think that's a fair statement. Hutch there, all their sack lunch guys, their cover guys. Like I think that their defense would be able, even with Jordan Love being amazing from time to time. I think that they hold them, to 17 or less at this point. Maybe even 10, 13, 14. Trips left, man in motion, Goff, little screen pass, blockers downfield. That play was run magnificently. Move the chains. First down, Detroit, Eminem, D12. They're happy. 2-minute warning. Bob Dylan, Van the Man Morrison. Jeff Stevens. Are you a big Bob Dylan? You like the Bob Dylan? Is that one of the faves? The Dylan Bob? I like to be able to see everyone's personality. You know, everyone you can definitely learn a lot, from the music that people either grew up with or enjoy, or ends up being something substantial in their life. Bob Dylan. Bob. This is a good way to. Oh, Van Morrison. Look at that throwback. First down and 10, minute 55. Goff, play action fake, pressure up the middle, screen pass. Montgomery says, get the fuck out of my way. Gain of a couple. Boom, baby. Stevens. That's why I like being able to, have the creativity and then the people as well. Because, really, you got to have the chat etiquette, but then, as far as photos, possibilities are unlimited. 31-31, flag on the play. That way we get to know what individuals you like. Ooh, penalty on Ragnow. Offensive holding. When's the last time we seen fucking Ragnow get called for a penalty? Really? So I'll see if he hangs on to him too long. Yeah, he did grab him. He got caught. But there's holding on every play. But yeah, I think they got an argument there. There's a little bit of a little extra grab to help Montgomery get a couple more yards. Bates with an 80-yard field goal for 8 points for Doggy Dog. The biggest field goal in NFL history. 90 yards. 9 points. Play action fake. No. Hand off. They're cooking it here for Bates. Getting chippy out there. They went to UW. Yeah, big Packer. Obviously, all the Wisconsin people are, They all love their sports out there. Even though, they'll have misery, right? And they'll let you know about it. Diane, the gambling man. Oh, they're going for it. They ain't fucking punting. They're going for everything. There you go. There's my guy. Amon-Ra St. Brown. First down. Get him the ball. Could be the best receiver in the game if you just got him the damn ball. Garrett Wilson saying the same thing. Can I get a goddamn quarterback that can get me the ball so I can be top 5 with Jetta and Jamar Chase? We know Garrett Wilson and Amon-Ra have that skill set. They're right there with Jetta and Jamar Chase. It's not like Jetta and Jamar Chase are the best things in sliced bread and Garrett Wilson and Amon-Ra are trash. Like, they're right there. They just need better quarterback play. Get them the ball. Amon-Ra is a great story, too, because I don't really think people thought he was going to pan out to this level, like turn himself into like a superstar receiver. Great story. No more timeouts for GB. Green Bay. I just like players that are consistent. Like, I don't care what team you're on or, who the quarterback is. Like, if you're a consistent player, I'm going to lean towards that because that's what I look for. Not only when I'm watching film, but when I'm, picking fantasy people, when I'm looking at potential, it's all about how many players that can I get rostered that can consistently play good and get double-digit points or whatever in X amount of weeks in a row. And the more you can do it, then I'm a fan of you, because that means that, you're not going to have one good game and shit the bed for 3, and then I end up getting mad and cut you, Oh, they're trying to run that clock all the way down. David Montgomery, no gain. 8s for the win. So I need to get O-Dog some fantasy points. He's had a horrible year. He drafted poorly, had injuries. Let's get him some points. But that might not happen. Well, it's 4th and 1, and if you've been going for it for 4th down, right, they're going to go for it, you would assume, again, right? I mean, if you lose, you lose or whatever. But, I mean, is this the time where you're going to play it safe, And, again, this will also show you if this is like the Eagles, how do you play them? Are you going to play the Packers the same way? That's why this film is important, because if the Eagles end up having a similar situation where the score is like 31-31 and it's to go to the Super Bowl or playoff game, like what strategy are you going to be? Are you going to be cocky and just go for it? Or are you going to play it safe and, kick the field goal? Like, you got to be able to trust your head and your heart, even though they're probably thinking 2 different things. Like, I'm going to be aggressive because that's the way that we're going to play. We're going to play bully ball until it fucks us over enough for us to change the, aggressiveness. And then, or do you do the thing that 99% of people and teams would do? You kick the field goal while it's there. But again, we're not like Detroit. They are in a class of their own. So again, and if it's only 4th and 1, I mean, you can go Jared Goff, QB sneak with the Goffense with the little tush push, Detroit style, little Eminem in the background, right? You can end up handing it off to Montgomery or Gibbs. Probably can get it there. You could end up throwing a bubble screen or a screen pass to Gibbs or, anybody there. Amon-Ra. So you could go to a quick pass to Laporta. I mean, you got options. They're just like, they're going to go for it. I mean, if you've already gone for it 4th down twice, you're going to do it again. That's their MO. It's like Dan Lanning. You either win or lose on the sword. It's like it's going to go, everything is going to go great, and we're going to run this way the whole time and win the Super Bowl this way, or we're going to have our hearts ripped out and do this against Philadelphia, and it's going to backfire, and they're going to go to the Super Bowl instead. So that's why this film is important here. And they go for it, and Goff falls, and they still get it. See, that's when you know the football gods fucking love you. Goff falls down, still gets the handoff off, and now they're going to end up winning the game. David Montgomery. Sometimes it pays to be good, sometimes it pays to be lucky, and sometimes a little bit of both if the football gods love you. They heard all the shit talk from the Packer fans all these years, and that was a little FU to beat you at Lambeau and a little FU this year in 2024. We're going to the playoffs. I can get stepped on, and I'll still give you the ball. Montgomery with the chains. Again, this is going to backfire at some point, but again, if you go, the probability because I can tap into his brain, I can tap into, how these coaches are coaching. And again, if you've done 2 of them and you've gone for it and you've succeeded, you're not going to own up and be like, I'm changing how the personality. I'm going to keep this going until they stop me. Almost like being a stubborn person. I'm set in my ways. I'm going to do this until it comes up to blow up in my face, and then I'll take the blame on the microphone. But as long as it's working, we're going to win or try to win the Super Bowl this way. And it's a gutsy way to play. Oregon tried to do that last year and lost to the Huskies twice by 3. But, this is a different team here in Detroit in 2024. Yes, I was just thinking that too, because I loved watching receiver. It's cool to be able to see the relationship with his brother that's in the NFL, as well as his dad and his mom, girlfriend. That show is cool. I like behind the scenes stuff like that. So if they can just swear and, just be who they really are, get to see their personality outside of having a helmet on. And also when they have the hot mics on is cool. First down and 10. Goff trying to get into that center hash. He's like, I need an O-Dog with those points, baby. I haven't even looked to see what Bates has. But Bates is going to make it, and they're going to win 34-31. So all right, so Amon-Ra got 10.3 from Megan, which is low because Amon-Ra could get you 30 or 40, right? Oh, Bates is at 8. He makes the field goal. Boom, shakalaka. That's 11, and that's where you want to be, right? 10 or more. 11. Now, if it was a 40-yard field goal, then it would have been 12. 50-yard would have been 13, but, we can't get greedy, right? Sometimes you just got to take that 30-yard field goal and take those 3 points. 4 and 5 and 6 is a hell of a lot better, but adding on to your total and getting into double digits, boom, kick is good. Lions win. Fantasy points. Yeah, did you watch quarterback also? Bates, money, down the middle. I might not be in the playoffs, but I know talent. And I know I got to get someone. And I got Bates, baby. And that Denver D. 34-31. What a game. Whoever had the ball last won. Defense has definitely got a little bit of an ass whooping in the second half. But Detroit is going to live and die by the sword and play over-aggressive football. And again, for most teams, it doesn't work. But for this team, it is. But again, if you're the Eagles and you're watching this, it shows you like how more than likely they're going to play you if you have a similar scenario. So plan accordingly. So if you have in store going for it on 4th down and 2-point conversions, maybe don't do that, and then you just make your normal defensive stops and then you can just win normally, like actually take field goals when they're there instead of just trying to play bully ball. But so far it worked out for the Lions. Congratulations to them. They're one of the funnest teams to watch, if not the funnest this year. Let's be honest. Like, you don't even have to be a Lions fan. They're fun to watch. Like, they're likable. They are fun. The lovable losers are on the cusp of the chip. Nice job, Bates. What do you guys? You got to watch quarterback and wide receiver. It's amazing. 34-31. Any other photos that I can get? What other photos do you want? He's like, I gotta go, but I'll take some photos. But now I know with a little Dylan Bob and Morrison Van, Steven's cat. Okay. Plus, I like seeing photos of like musicians and bands and whatnot. It's cool. It's like, give me those igloos and them snows. I'm gonna get some good ones. Standard, fancy. Living in a glass igloo. Oh, really? At the gorge? Nice. Hell yeah. Party at Jay's house. Not just Jay. Zay also. Zay, Jay, all of them. We gotta go to Zay's apartment. Party in Northern Ohio. Who's bringing the booze? There we are. There's Zay and his new condominium as he's settling in with the 5 to 6 feet of snow. There we are. Head just sticking out. Hey, check out my condominium, my duplex. I'm living life. Fuck, if you had this though, man, look at how many. He's got one. There's like a castle jump off in the background. Then he's got another room here to the right. I mean, you're living large and it goes back. I can't even see the back of it. So, okay. Man, he's living good. I'd probably do like Fireball or something. But I'm not going to drink that often. It's like Blue Moon. You know, I like the Blue Moon, the beer, but then we need to evolve, right? If Zay's living outside and this is his life now, right? Then we got to get it to this, where we got to get some like smart people in the neighborhood, right? When we get the engineers and then we build like the boss, like, okay, this is what we doing now. We're living large, okay? This could be us. Yeah. I drink very, very rarely now. Very rarely. It's not good for you. You know, and then you got to have the colors in there, right? Because you got to make yourself feel comfortable, like a Starburst igloo. All the colors, just in the neighborhood, posted up. There's Zay. He said rent's free. Party's over here. Then you got to step up. Igloo Cafe. Like legit business. You're living large. Asia's biggest Igloo Cafe. Like legit. And then if we want to go to like Finland, we're going on a road trip. And boom, this is what Finland is like. More like UFO-like. I kind of like the design. When I walk in the neighborhood with Paisley and I go walk, 5 miles in every direction, I always like looking at the architecture of people's houses and, their vibe, that because everyone has a different vibe, based on, how their architecture, kind of breaks down with their house and whatnot. Yeah, cool. All right. Finland, they know what's up. Oh, they did it for Dad. Dad's birthday is tomorrow. Dad passed away. 2 touchdowns, the Tim Patrick game. It all comes together. Igloo Hotel. Igloo Hotels in Finland. That's what that is right there. Okay. All right, here, Paisley. Hold on. Daddy's here. Hello. Hi. Wake up. Girl. Paisley just woke up. She's like, I need to give you some kisses. I'm like, we've been looking at some igloos. Anything else that you want to be able to see before we go? I appreciate all the representation. Reflect with a 3 or captain with a 7. Reflect with the 20s, 8 with a 10. Reflect with a 60 to get us to the goal. Thank you so much. What are we thinking? Anything else that you want to be able to take a look at? And then that's us right there. Hey, Marty's over here, bro. Zay's like, come over, dog. Pulling all-nighter. Then we step it up. But then tomorrow we're going to do the matchup with UNLV and Boise State. We get another championship game done. 5 o'clock. Starburst Igloo Hotel. Cafe. Or we'll go to Finland and have a vaulted ceiling and play basketball. So, yeah, that's a great choice. I like that. I like that. Good choice. I'm trying to decide where I want to go show-wise. I'm always kind of like stuck on certain shows, but for like me to start a new show, it's like a new commitment because I don't want to like start something when I know it's got 4 or 5 seasons. I have to commit and finish it. But Saul Goodman. He's good. Quick-witted, intelligent, it has a certain type of persona. Like when you see certain people on screen, in certain shows, like, they're like a one of one. Like no one else is going to do that better. I appreciate you very, very much. You the man. Thank you for all the support. Final score, Lions 34, Packers 31. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you. We can live in igloos like Zay. Stay safe. We found out some new things. New artists. Boom. We got them. The Lions clinch a playoff spot. I appreciate every single one of y'all. Josh Jacobs almost had 4 tutties. That would have been the difference. To beat the Lions, you have to have 4 tutties. Saquon, pay attention. I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys very much. We'll be live tomorrow at 5. UNLV, Boise State. Be here. And I got one question for you. Well, talk sports like us. Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics. Love you guys. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Appreciate that. Shout out to Sarah, Captain, Reflect, Zay, all y'all. Appreciate you. Reflect, you're the MVP. Love you guys. Appreciate you. And I'm out. Gang.